The Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snos.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNOS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snos.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review. A Colorado man reminisced Monday about a simpler time when he only masturbated to still images on the internet. 36-year-old Timothy Barchuk, who now says he requires multiple streaming hardcore videos just to get excited, willfully reflected on the days of waiting for slowly loading images of naked women to appear.
Look at this picture of Phoebe Cates. Sure, you can pull it up in 2 seconds now. Back in the old days, you'd have to wait for it to materialize on your screen pixel by pixel. It's not about her tits, which are nice, but it's about waiting for them. Nowadays, you can pull up 8 different videos of anal sex at once. Who cares?
In local news, the person who will one day become the warlord ruler of what was once Nebraska is born in an Omaha hospital. And in other news, a man and woman get drunk and blow $30,000 in one night. A lonely college student calls up his mom to talk about Harold and Kumar, and another dead body is tossed on a heap somewhere. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Welcome to Free Talk Live. You can dial in here toll-free on this live Sunday edition of the program. Our number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Ian.
The nobody formerly known as Rich Paul.
And Richie Rich.
Yeah, we got lots of stuff to talk about this evening. I had mentioned last night it's not really much of an update on Julian Assange. But there is a story at the New York Post. His father is, well, I think legitimately concerned that his son is going to die in prison. Right now he's still in custody in the UK, expecting, well, he's going through the extradition process to possibly be extradited to the United States. And they're holding him even though he's not actually on any kind of charges in the UK anymore. He's been, he served his sentence there for avoiding court. And now he is not well.
Yeah.
At least the last time he made a public appearance.
Seems to be mistreated over there.
Right. So coming up, we'll also talk about moral grandstanding. Richie, you've got a story about that. We'll see exactly what that means on the way here tonight. Plus, Venezuela now more than 50% dollarized, according to a study. But let's just start with this story about Julian Assange, just because, anything we can do to bring more attention to Julian Assange, I think, is a good thing. For those who don't know, Julian Assange is the founder or one of the co-founders of WikiLeaks, which, of course, made major headlines earlier this decade for revealing all kinds of stuff that the governments of the world
One of the last
want you to
real
know.
journalists.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why they're coming at him hard and heavy with potential criminal charges in the United States. They kept him locked up basically in the Ecuadorian embassy in the UK for 6 years, I think it was, 6 or 7 years.
I remember hearing 7 years.
And that was
just his cat.
That's because he was wanted by the UK government on these bogus charges that had come out of, I think it was Sweden. And Sweden ended up dropping those charges, but because he didn't go to court in the UK, even though the court was for extradition to Sweden on charges that Sweden ultimately dropped, because you don't go to court makes judges mad, and so they sentenced him to 12 months in jail for missing his court date, basically. Contempt, essentially, is what that is, contempt of court. And so, and they got him, finally. I think it was actually the Ecuadorian embassy finally. Didn't they turn him over? Didn't they just hand him over?
I'm sure they got some sort of backroom payoff because they let him stay there for 7 years, right? And then some deal gets made, some new person gets put in power in Ecuador, and of a sudden, He's like, your time here is up, and out he goes.
Well, the other thing is he criticized the Ecuadorian government.
That's right.
Which, I'll give him a lot of points for courage, but if that's the only place I got left to go, I might say, let somebody else deal with Ecuador.
Yeah, he didn't turn a blind eye. Well, now, of course, was it he that criticized the Ecuadorian embassy, or not embassy, but the Ecuadorian president, or was it somebody at WikiLeaks who may not have been Julian Assange, and they punished Julian for, what WikiLeaks did? Even though he was sitting in the Ecuadorian embassy the whole time, cut off from the internet, so maybe he didn't do that.
Yeah, see, that I don't know.
See, I don't either. I don't remember all the little details about how that played out. But yeah, you're right. He essentially did kind of bite the hand that fed him in that, if that was him that did it.
Right,
right.
Well,
and if it was a valid critique,
if I was at WikiLeaks and I knew where Assange was, even if it wasn't me, I would not have published that.
Yeah, good point.
Well, some integrity do then, because if it's worthy of publishing, and the Ecuadorian government did something noteworthy.
Oh, it was worthy. Yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying. So do you have the integrity to go ahead and publish it, or do you withhold it because all of a sudden they're protecting you? Right. The same could be said for publishers in the United States who won't go to press because that's their government. Right. They've got the protection from that government, and so we're hands off.
WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, according to the New York Post, might not make it out of prison alive, according to his father, John Shipton, telling reporters he'd visited his son in the British prison earlier this week and needed to come to terms with the fact that he may, quote, die in jail. He said further on Friday, "This is not the bitter disappointment of a father. This is simply fact. Julian may die in jail over a 9-year persecution for revealing the truth of war crimes," he said. "It is beyond obscene." Unquote. Assange, who is 48 now, has been in prison since April when he was booted from the Ecuadorian embassy in London. The whistleblower famously published classified military and diplomatic files in 2010 about U.S. bombing campaigns in Afghanistan and Iraq. He sought refuge at the embassy in 2012, as we mentioned earlier, in order to avoid extradition to Sweden, which again was later dropped. And Assange is currently fighting extradition by the United States, where he could face up to 175 years in prison under the Espionage Act. Even though he's not a U.S. citizen,
he spied on U.S.
Well, the only time citizenship matters, I think, is treason. Espionage is a different thing. Like if a Russian came over here to spy, he would be charged with espionage.
Right. Of course, he didn't come over here.
No, he didn't
point.
come.
But he
ran a
released
website.
the information. Yeah,
he ran a website that he was given information on. He may have assisted. They're going to allege, I think, based on some of the stories we read previously, that he may have assisted Bradley Manning, or then Bradley Manning, now Chelsea Manning, but at the time Bradley Manning, when he was in the military, with encouraging him or providing him some sort of a tool, perhaps, to download and or store the data that ended up being sent to WikiLeaks. So I forget exactly what the allegations were. I don't know if he helped him. They're going to allege that he helped him hack somehow or something like that.
Specifically that he helped them break a password.
That's right.
Attempt to break a password. So
right, and then
which is a job that you can send out to somebody else. It's like, send me the password file. I'll see if I can find anything and send it back to you.
Right, and so whether he was successful at that, I don't know. But those are some of the allegations we believe they may be presenting if they actually do bring this indictment against Julian Assange, if they are successfully able to get him extradited from the UK. And then the latest update prior to his dad meeting with him in the prison is that when he made a public appearance in front of a court there in the UK for one of these extradition hearings, that he could barely put a sentence together, that he was all kinds of messed up, basically. And it does raise...
He said he could not think properly.
Right, yeah. And it raises the question of what is the treatment that they're giving him there, because we know that in the U.S., when Bradley Manning was put into the military prison awaiting trial, they were torturing Bradley Manning with things like 24-hour-a-day lights, with loud noises constantly, with
he was in
solitary confinement. So basically, taking away his ability to discern whether it was night or day, and just that messes with with people, man.
Absolutely.
When you do that to somebody.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And and of course he's in jail. So there's no way, if they decide to slip him drugs in his food, there's no way he can avoid that. It's eat it or starve.
Yep.
So yeah, it's awful situation. What I don't understand is why Americans are not out in the streets about this. I mean,
were the UK people out in the streets about it?
Nobody's out in the streets about it, and I don't understand why not. I don't know really how to organize them, but it's horrific. I think there's a lot of people who would take to the streets if there were a leader to take them there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like everybody's waiting for somebody else to step up, and nobody's done it.
Well, there's a long time, right? Like, how long can people sustain being out in the streets? If this guy's sitting in the Ecuadorian embassy for 6 years, it's not going to last too long before people are like, okay, I got to go back to work.
Well, yeah, and the government works in shifts, right?
Well, it's true, but we weren't out 6 years ago, so it seems like this is the time because it's coming down to a matter of life or death for this guy, and he's put it all on the line for, truth, justice, and ironically enough, the American way, and yet, well, what we like to think is the American way, and we got to do something.
855-450 free. Well, Pamela Anderson went to visit him in the Ecuadorian embassy more than once, so he did get that. More coming up.
Next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and Fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org. Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free to bring up what you want here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. You can jump into one of those and sound like you're sitting here in the studio with us. Tonight, it's Ian.
Nobody.
And Richie Rich.
So we started out talking about Julian Assange on the way. We'll also... what was the story you had, Richie?
Are you a moral grandstander?
Moral grandstanding. That's it. We'll find out what that is here in a little bit. And first, though, we're going to go to your calls and thoughts. Although I do want to invite you to LibertyCon coming up April 3rd through the 5th in 2020 in Washington, D.C. It's going to be for people who want to go see some great speakers, but also who might want to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, perhaps for the purpose of career advancement or maybe business and internship opportunities. Plus, speakers will include John Mackey, the Whole Foods CEO and co-founder, speaking on conscious capitalism. Vernon Smith, they won the Nobel Prize in Economics. He'll be speaking on alternative markets. Miriam Issa is a pop culture expert and political commentator with over 300 million YouTube views. And Nassim Nicholas Taleb, who spent 21 years as a risk taker before becoming a researcher in philosophical, mathematical, and practical problems with probability. There's a lot more to learn. Go to libertycon.com for more details and more speakers and events. Use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration, which already it's a very affordable ticket to go to this thing. So you knock $10 off by using code FTL. You get discounted hotel rooms at the Marriott Marquis. And if you're a student, there are travel scholarships available, meaning they are going to pay to help more students come to this thing, which is pretty cool. LibertyCon.com, code FTL, get you $10 off. And again, mark your calendar, April 3rd through the 5th. We'll look forward to seeing you there. Let's go to James. He's in Missouri listening to KWTO there in Springfield. Hello, James.
Hello.
Hey, you're on the air.
There would be an excellent interview or something like that. Could you guys contact his father, maybe a little for an online discussion about his health?
You're talking about Julian Assange's father, who has expressed concern that his son is going to die in prison, whether it be a U.S. prison or elsewhere. He's almost resigned to this as a likely future. Generally, Free Talk Live doesn't do interviews. We're not really an interview show, but it's not a bad idea. Huh?
Is his pa back in the state?
Is who back in the state?
His pa.
His father.
I don't think he's from the States.
His father's Australian, I believe.
Yeah.
Assange is Australian.
Yeah, and it's not clear where his father actually lives. His name is apparently John Shipton. But, like I said, we don't generally do interviews. It's not to say I would be against it.
Well, I was saying we've had Lynn Albrecht on for Free Ross.
Okay, well, maybe just an offline one with one of your producers, have a conversation and tape it and share it with the online audience with his permission. How'd that be?
Well, if somebody wants to try to track him down and see if they can, get him to agree to that, then I'd be interested in possibly talking to him for a little bit. Thank you, James. Do you want to share anything else about your opinions on the situation?
Oh, well, just perhaps a candid opinion about it from a family member about condition and contributing causes and what have you?
Well, the contributing causes are corrupt governments, specifically the U.S. and the U.K. governments, who are threatening and harassing and just basically intimidating as many journalists as they possibly can. And part of what they're doing to Julian Assange is to send a message to the other journalists out there like, oh, you cross us, this will happen to you next.
Yeah. Well, and there's another one out there who, and I don't know what this story is, so like I'm not taking a side on it. I don't even know what this woman is charged with.
Is she a journalist?
But she's supposed to be a journalist who covered Standing Rock,
okay,
and is now supposedly being prosecuted for it. But that's the only thing. I don't know anything else beyond that. But yeah, it's definitely it's a very worrying pattern. And of course, there's one standout on this though, which is the so-called whistleblower from the Ukraine scandal. Nobody wants to identify that person.
I thought he's been identified.
He's been identified, but not officially.
Okay.
And if you if you post his name to Facebook, they'll take your post down.
Yeah.
And
well, that means he's been identified. It's like Ian said, it's being suppressed, like Mark Ciaramella or whatever.
And he's not been identified publicly.
Okay.
And there was even a very weird thing where Rand Paul called on the media to identify him, but Rand Paul didn't identify him, which. I mean,
how much
if
more of
you
an
know
identity
the
do you
name
need? Like,
and you think it should be out, say his name.
Mark Ciaramella.
Hey, James,
Okay.
thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate the suggestion. And, like I said, if somebody wants to track this guy down, then I'd consider it.
I think
I'm just not going to spend time doing it.
The other thing, too, with that is they got quotes from the father. So that he's in contact with journalists who are writing stories about it, right?
That's right.
If he had more to share, I'm sure that it would have been published in the initial articles as well.
Well, then again, when you're publicizing a cause, I mean, certainly... like for my campaign, anybody actually contacts me and says, please come on my radio show, I'm going to go on his radio show because that gives me more listeners. Of course, if they've
Absolutely.
Anyway, go ahead.
So there's not much else to say about it. I mean, we don't know what his current status is. I don't know if there are any updates in the extradition hearings, but for now, he's still in custody in the UK.
What is taking so long? With, like, if they know he's going to get extradited.
What do you think's taking so long?
Well,
they take
all right.
forever. And they don't know if he's going to get extradited.
Really?
That's why they're having hearings.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, it's problematical because espionage in the United States can carry the death penalty. And Britain has a very long-standing policy that they won't extradite you if you might face the death penalty.
Oh, really?
Canada's the same way. Most of Europe is that way.
But they're also buddy-buddy with the U.S.
Exactly. But in this case, they're like, looking, how do we make an exception?
Yeah.
And, of course, the U.S. authorities could have avoided it by just, charging him with jaywalking in Miami and getting him extradited and then charging him with death penalty offenses, but they didn't think that far apart.
That's an interesting
ahead.
Yeah, speaking of people who've been charged with ridiculous nonsense in the U.S., I mentioned this last night, but we didn't get into the story, and it's an update on a story that we covered more than a decade ago in some amount of detail here on Free Talk Live. Ed and Elaine Brown. You know those names?
I recognize the names.
Oh, yeah. I went, Star Child. He and I went out to their farm during the standout.
So did we.
And it was interesting because I went out there armed. And so the question I had to ask myself is, if I'm going to go on this property armed, then it's like, and the feds come in, what do I do?
Yeah.
And I concluded bite. But they didn't come while I was there. I concluded the answer was fight.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Edward and Elaine Brown, according to NHPR, the Plainfield couple who led a months-long armed standoff with U.S. Marshals over their refusal to pay federal income taxes, could be resentenced following a separate U.S. Supreme Court ruling. The Browns were sentenced to 37 years and 35 years each, respectively, following their 9-month-long siege in 2007. And siege is kind of a strange word for what happened there.
Well, they were besieged.
They were. There's more coming up here, 855, 450 free, but there wasn't any shots fired or anything like that. It wasn't like there was an actual, fight. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
If you're looking for work, there's a piece of paper more important than your resume. It's the cover letter attached if you're snail mailing, or the email to which you attach your resume. Make it 4 short paragraphs. Paragraph 1, say that you're applying for work. The person you're sending to gets a ton of mail about all sorts of things. If you have a password, that's your first sentence. Tom Nelson tells me you and I should meet. Paragraph 2, what you do and how that relates to the opening. Be as specific as possible. Paragraph 3, why you want this particular job. I'm originally from Boston, so I know the market well. I have family and friends in the area, so this would be a homecoming for me. Paragraph 4, unless the job posting stipulates no calls, and I will call you to follow up. Thank you in advance for your time. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free to bring up what you want on this live Sunday edition of the program. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms, so head over to discord.lrn.fm where you can jump into one of those and sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us tonight. It's Ian.
Nobody.
And Richie Rich.
Also, good nutrition is key to looking and feeling great, but eating right all the time can be challenging, especially when travel and work schedules can get in the way, or maybe you just don't have the desire or the time to shop and cook the right foods. Balance of Nature has a solution for you. With just 3 of their Balance of Nature fruit capsules and 3 of their veggie capsules, you get 10 servings of fruits and vegetables, and that is a lot of nutrition. And you can go online and become a preferred customer, which gives you the best pricing and free shipping. And then after your 3rd month, Balance of Nature will ship to you at no charge an additional set of fruits and veggies. To get the deal, go to balanceofnature.com and use code FTL, like Free Talk Live. That's code FTL at balanceofnature.com. As we continue here, talking about the latest on a surprising update on Ed and Elaine Brown, who were sentenced to 37 and 35 years in prison, federal prison, for not paying taxes, basically, and not being sorry about it. And
that's the part.
Yeah, and holing up in their house in Plainfield, New Hampshire, which is in the northern portion of New Hampshire. And you said you'd gone there, Nobody, back in the day. Also, Mark and I went there at one point. I know Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. There were a number of libertarians up here that kind of went up and toured the house and, gave them our support. There wasn't an actual, people were armed, but there wasn't shooting between the sides. So I guess you were saying during the break that a siege can also be just being surrounded by the enemy, even though a shot hasn't been fired yet.
I think that still qualifies as a siege once it becomes a blockade.
They're cutting off your supplies.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And I think the way this ended, if I recall correctly, is that an infiltrator came in pretending that he was one of us.
It was actually the pizza dude.
It was the pizza dude?
Yeah. I remember pizza being involved, but it was like the delivery guy, or someone was just bringing
delivery
pizza?
guy.
Oh, okay.
So what happened was, as I understand it, after 6 months, basically, or not, they're saying 9 months here, but after several months of being, at basically a dead standoff with the federal government, they.
I didn't.
Not distracting at all, though.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, they'd ordered a pizza, and I guess the pizza place snitched him out or something like that. I'm not sure how the federal government ended up being the pizza guy in this case.
Could have been just monitoring phone calls.
Well, there can't be that many pizza places out there,
Plainfield,
so they could have had the line tapped, or they could have just known they call this place.
Could have been. Either way, they got a heads up that a pizza had been ordered, and they put the federal agent in the pizza guy's truck or whatever, and pizza guy uniform, and sent him out there, and they busted him when they gave him the pizzas.
Yep. And then nobody was saying that they got tasered on the way in or out?
I don't recall hearing that.
The way I heard the story was different,
incident.
so I may have heard it wrong. I heard that in maybe this is a Mandela effect thing, because the story that I heard was detailed but different. It was that a protester or someone had come in appearing to be a protester and had basically taken Ed unaware and tased him into inability to defend himself.
If that's what happened, that's what was not reported on in that case.
And that's the thing. That may be the wrong story, because I can't remember my source or anything else, or maybe it's Mandela effect, because weird things happen.
Yeah, I remember Ian's story with it just being the pizza. I didn't know this pizza guy. I thought it was just like a friendly bringing in pizza, and took him.
I'm pretty sure it was the pizza dude.
I believe you.
But anyway, if you want to join us, you can. Hear the numbers 855-450-FREE. The news media at New Hampshire Public Radio describes their house as a carnival-like atmosphere at times. And I don't know if it was a carnival-like atmosphere, but there was a time where they held a party, and it was actually Genesis Communications Network, which is the network that syndicates this program. Ted Anderson is the boss man, the owner over there. It was actually the first time I met Ted Anderson. He was grilling hot dogs and hamburgers out at Ed and Elaine Brown's house, because Genesis had actually sponsored this event. And so, of course, we're right down the street, or a little ways away. So we went up there for it, and they had live music. There were a couple hundred people there, and this was during the standoff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting thing to do. It was cool.
Well, like you said, drawing attention to the story, right?
Yeah.
To get people. But what I said during the break was I don't think Ed and Elaine Brown came off as very sympathetic victims the way they were handling like their tax protests. Like they got freedom people on their side because, hey, they're doing tax protests. Of course we're on their side. But the way they presented themselves to the general public, I don't think garnered them a lot of sympathy outside of the liberty community.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And there's a, there's a lesson to be learned there for future activists. And
well, Ed was kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, he was a little, he had some eccentric beliefs.
He thought the Illuminati was after him. And maybe they were.
He might have been right.
But that's not something that's going to fly particularly effectively amongst the public. He wasn't the most friendly.
But what is the Illuminati besides George Carlin's club? Because everybody acknowledges that exists. That there is a club of rulers and elites that control things. You can differ on how organized and cooperative they are, but certainly there's an oligarchy.
I think you just defined him.
He was not he wasn't the best public face for that particular thing. I don't disagree with you there. His wife, on the other hand, was well respected, very kind. She was a dentist in the community, so I mean, she had a successful dental practice. He was like a retired pest exterminator or something like that. Okay. So I don't think he was doing much in the community at that time. But as far as people's opinions, it's always hard, no matter how sympathetic of a victim we're talking about. It's always hard to persuade people that somebody who's a tax protester or a tax freedom advocate or whatever is supposed to be sympathetic, because most people don't look at that with sympathy. They look at that with like, well, I have to pay my taxes, so you got to pay yours, and it's not fair if you get away with not paying your taxes, and I still got to pay my taxes. So put the screws to that guy.
But
and we're indoctrinated also by the school system. I mean, parents don't teach you what's legal and what's illegal. They teach you right from wrong. The school system teaches you that legal and illegal are the answers to life. What's right and wrong, and that's unfortunate.
But you can come out and say I'm tax protesting because I don't believe in the tax system. I believe it's morally wrong. Or you can do what they did, which is say, show me the law. And then everyone comes forward and goes, 16th Amendment right there. They have the right to tax and levy and blah, blah, blah. So here's the law. And now he's like, that's not the law. Show me that was never ratified. Show me the law. And I go, well, it was. I mean, it's right here. It's constitutional. You got to pay. And it's like, well, if someone can show me the law, I'll pay. And like, dude, the law is right here. All you got to do is read it a couple times over again, and you'll see that.
Well, their argument is it's going to be that it's a voluntary thing, that it's not a coercive law, that you're just opting in essentially to paying it.
Well, it actually comes back to America Freedom to Fascism. Which is there were claims made in the Aaron Russo movie Freedom to Fascism that basically there was some sort of inadequacy in the statute, not the constitutional basis for the law, which is the 16th Amendment, but in the statute that wrote it, that only that they interpret as only requiring corporations to pay taxes. And I always thought that was a bad argument, because if it was as simple as that, Congress would just change the law and then the argument would be gone.
So don't bring up the law, just bring up the principle of the matter.
I mean, it's a good argument. Whether that will persuade a jury is a whole other question.
Money.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. You want to weigh in? You can. This is Free Talk Live.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
We can all agree these are troubled times, right? So do you know who's on your wireless network? Whether it's a big company selling your data or a foreign hacker, if you're not protected, everybody sees your information. That's why you need Flash Routers, a custom Wi-Fi router created for privacy. Flash Routers uses a virtual private network, or VPN, to protect your online activity from hackers, trackers, and large corporations. And not just one, but all your devices with one out-of-the-box setup. Plus, Flash Routers also enhances your wireless network performance and unlocks powerful router management tools to let you take total control of your network. Call or click Flash Routers today at 1-866-509-5817 or FLASHROUTERS.com. That's 1-866-509-5817 or FlashRouters.com. Protect your wireless home network today with Flash Routers.
Hi, this is George Norrie. I'll be in the Chicago area October 25th and 26th for the Health Freedom Expo. It's going to be an incredible weekend of lectures, workshops, and exhibits with leading experts and the newest products in natural and alternative medicine. Join speakers Jeffrey Smith, Lisa Oz, Patch Adams, Ocean Robbins, and Doc Wallach, and get your tickets today at TrinityHealthFreedomExpo.com. You have a right to a naturally vibrant and healthy life. That's TrinityHealthFreedomExpo.com or call 1-888-658-3976.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
There are such things called a breatharian. And you know what? George Norrie doesn't eat, sleep, or drink either. Did you know that? Yes. You know what? He never gets tired.
George Norrie, the host of Coast to Coast AM, you believe... Let me just make sure I heard you correctly. You don't believe that he drinks, that he eats, and that he sleeps? Is that what you said? I just want to make sure I heard you correctly.
They're ascended masters. They don't have to be here. They come here to teach people and to enlighten people. And George Norrie and I think Art Bell might be one. Their blood content is gold. See, they don't have to be here.
Their blood content is gold? Is that what you just said?
Yes. That's right. You know what? Our content is iron. Their constitution is gold.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. It's the live Sunday edition of the program. It's 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live brought to you by Anarchapulco. You know, it's funny that we were just talking about America, Freedom to Fascism, which was the documentary film produced a decade and a half ago, I think, at this point, by Aaron Russo, who has since passed away. But that's a movie that brought a lot of people into I would say, the liberty movement.
It kind of brought me back in.
Really?
Yeah. Well, the reason was because I saw the movie, and I had been a libertarian for a long time, but, you know, I was discouraged party libertarian.
Yeah.
And I saw America, Freedom to Fascism, and Ron Paul appeared in that movie. I mean, he's not responsible for the editorial content, but he was interviewed. And this was like 2007, I guess, or 2006, and that's what caused me to become aware that Ron Paul was running again. And so I guess Ron Paul kind of activated me again, and
Good. Well, he did that for a lot of folks.
Yeah, he really did.
And you may recall that in that movie, there was one of the people they interviewed besides Ron Paul was Sherry Peel Jackson, who was the former IRS agent who realized that what she was doing was wrong and, joined the side of good. She was one of the people that was interviewed. She's going to be speaking at Anarchapulco 2020, as well as Ron Paul. He'll be there as well. John McAfee, Doug Casey, Freeway Rick Ross, and many more. Go to anarchapulco.com. You can get registered there and come on up to, or down to, depending on where you are, to Acapulco, a beautiful resort on the beach there. You'll enjoy 4 days or more, because there's actually some sort of related events that happen on both sides of this thing. But the official event is February 13th through the 16th. Go to anarchapulco.com to learn more about it, and you can register with promo code FTL, like Free Talk Live, to save 10% on your ticket. That's anarchapulco.com with promo code FTL, like Free Talk Live, February 13th through the 16th. It's going to be a great event. It's been awesome in past years, and it just keeps getting better. It's really an international thing. Lots of people from all around the planet come to Anarchapulco, so don't miss it if you can get there. So we'll look forward to hopefully seeing you there for that. We've been talking about Ed and Elaine Brown, the supposed tax protesters, anti-tax crusaders, as Todd Bookman at NHPR reports it, that they have been sentenced back a decade ago now to 37 and 35 years in prison. And I would say they were, I'm just going to guess based on, I met them at the time. They looked like they were in their late 60s, early 70s at that time, so they got to be getting up in the years. Amazingly, Ed hasn't died in prison yet, because that happened to Peter Schiff, or not Peter Schiff, Erwin Schiff, Peter's father. He passed away at around, I think, 85 years old in federal. Definitely
in the 80s.
Yeah,
recently, too.
Federal,
in the last few years.
No, it wasn't even the last few years. That's probably
Really?
close to a decade ago.
Really? Oh, man.
I bet you if you checked it out, I bet you'd have been like 2009, 2010 or something like that.
Okay. Fair enough. My memory goes back a long ways, because I remember him Peter Schiff, trying to get that commuted where he was let out just because he was sick.
Because he was so old.
Yeah.
Erwin Schiff. No, you're right. 2015.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Guess it wasn't that long ago. But either way, Ed and Elaine Brown had been inside prison basically for the last more than a decade. In October of 2007, they were arrested by U.S. Marshals, who discovered an arsenal of weapons, ammunition, explosives, and booby traps on the property, which they, of course, stole from the Browns and auctioned off. Actually, they had a tough time finding buyers, as I understand.
Yeah.
For that particular piece of property.
See, and that's kind of misleading too, right? Like a cache of weapons.
Yeah.
But he went peacefully as far as one of the stories is concerned. There was no gunfire, right?
Nope.
There's plenty of Americans that own a cache of weapons.
It's legal in New Hampshire.
It's legal, you know. So to make that part of it makes him sound more like a violent radical, than a nonviolent tax protester.
The Browns were sentenced to prison for a range of crimes related to the standoff. So not so much the taxes, but more of what they did to avoid going to court and avoid going into custody. A recent U.S. Supreme Court decision, U.S. versus Davis, however, found that a federal sentencing statute that called for enhanced penalties for certain firearms offenses associated with, quote, crimes of violence, unquote, is unconstitutionally vague. Earlier this month, the U.S. First Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that the Browns deserved a, quote, fuller exploration, unquote, of their sentence by a lower court. On Monday, the U.S. Attorney for New Hampshire submitted a memo to the court agreeing that the Browns' sentence of 30 years for the charge of carrying a firearm or destructive device in connection with a crime of violence should be vacated, and that the court should, quote, reschedule the case for resentencing, unquote. I am shocked that this has transpired. Yeah. And whoever the U.S. attorney is for New Hampshire, I mean, I'm sure that person's doing horrible things to all kinds of people in the line of their duty. But in this case, kudos for putting that motion in front of the court. It's possible if this entire sentence is vacated, 30 years for this one charge of carrying a firearm or destructive device in connection with a crime of violence. Again, I'm not even sure what the crime of violence they're even talking about is, because he wasn't accused of doing anything violent.
Well, they're calling it an armed standoff, right?
Yeah.
True. Well, he did threaten. That's true.
He did say that he would not. Well, he threatened to defend himself.
Right.
But they don't recognize that as a right.
Yeah, they don't take anything you say to federal agents the same as how they would take it if you just said it to somebody else.
Special class of people.
They're special. But if they do vacate that 30-year sentence, then that would only leave 7 years left, unless he got multiple sentences concurrent. And I'm not sure exactly how many charges he was facing versus what he was convicted for. And, because sometimes you get consecutive sentences, sometimes you get concurrent sentences. But presuming these are consecutive sentences, if they wipe this charge out, if they vacate the sentence, and he's only got 7 years left. He served 7 years. That's time served. He's out.
To be clear, they said vacate and re-sentence, though, or
True.
just throw it out?
Yeah, that's the thing. It probably won't go to 0, but it may well go to a longer number.
Or shorter
likely
number,
shorter, and it may result in him getting released.
Yeah, time served, commuted down.
Right. So I hope so. I mean, I really do. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, what do you walk out to, right? I mean, both of them
has no house.
He has no house, right? They took all his property.
Probably any money he had in the bank, any trucks or cars, anything that they could possibly get their hands on, they took.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he would have to, presumably they've got kids.
Okay.
And, they can probably lean on their family for support, would be my guess.
Retirement age and getting a fresh start in the world.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, coming out of jail at 44 with nothing and being unable to carry on my previous business was bad enough. I can't even imagine what it would have been like if I'd been 20 years older.
Terrible.
If you want to join the conversation, you're welcome to. The toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. A little more from the story here. It says the majority of the Browns' prison sentence was associated with the charges that have now been deemed unconstitutional, meaning the Browns could see a substantial overall reduction in their prison terms. That will be up to, ultimately, a federal judge and the prosecutors
wait a minute.
decide.
Did they say it was unconstitutionally
That's what they said.
vague?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's not a sentencing matter. That's a matter of that charge has to go away.
That's what they're saying. They're saying...
So they're saying reevaluate...
They're saying vacate the charge and reschedule the case for resentencing. So
the other interesting thing is they're sending it back down to a lower court as if the higher court is the one in error. Right?
Well, usually it's the lower court that does the sentencing. So they're just sending it back to the same court that did the sentencing.
Okay.
In this case, it's probably going to be the federal district court in Concord.
All right.
That's what the Supreme Court nearly always does.
Yeah, they
as
can't
I understand
resentence.
it.
They look at questions of law,
right,
and then they make a decision on that and they send it back. They remand to a lower court for resentencing.
Okay.
Yeah, but they don't just cut you loose usually.
Federal prosecutors did not respond to a request for comment on this case, and no hearing has yet been scheduled in the matter. Hopefully it won't take them, years to get around to scheduling this, and that, by any luck, these folks will get out of prison before they die.
Especially if it's going to be reduced to the point where it might end up being time served, right? You wouldn't want them to be serving more than that.
I wonder if they're represented.
That's a good question. I don't know if they did pro se in their hearings or if they had an attorney. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Or how this was even sparked to come up again. Like who was looking at the paperwork going like, man, we got to rethink this Ed and Elaine Brown thing from the state side.
Good question. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Ed Brown told a reporter of the Associated Press at the beginning of their standoff, quote, "Live free or die. What else can I say?" Say I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
There's more coming up. You can share your thoughts. We're going to get into moral grandstanding next on Free Talk Live. Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com.
Do you have a qualified plan, an IRA, 401k, 401(b), or some other type of investment account? Would you like to learn how the ultra-wealthy take their investment accounts and make them legally 100% tax-free? Have your money liquid and invest in literally anything you want to completely tax-free with the blessing of the IRS. And no, it's not a Roth. Join us now at dna.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,462, silver at $16.85, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,777. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Mexican media and public figures are increasingly growing nervous about the possibility that continued drug cartel violence in the country could lead their northern neighbors in Washington to act rashly by declaring the powerful criminal groups to be terrorist organizations, resulting in a U.S. military intervention on Mexican soil. The speculation comes after 9 U.S. citizens from a Mormon sect were slaughtered this week by a drug cartel. Also on Thursday, Mexican daily Sin Embargo published a story detailing how U.S. lawmakers and top media outlets are pushing for the U.S. government to declare the cartels to be terrorists. Such a move could clear the path to unilateral actions by the Pentagon, handing the mantle of a war on drugs to the U.S. Armed Forces, after Mexico's president has repeatedly made clear he is in favor of pursuing a socioeconomic solution to the huge problem of crime in the country, or, as he puts it, hugs and not bullets. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Epstein didn't kill himself meme has reached an entirely new, unprecedented level, as it has officially crossed the line from internet meme into physical reality via the underside of a beer can. The Mind Unleashed reports that Tactical Ops Brewing in Fresno, California, is printing the message Epstein didn't kill himself on the bottom of beer cans. That's according to local Fox affiliate KMPH. Carlos Taver, manager of Tactical Ops, said that the idea for printing the message on the brewery's cans first came to him around a week ago because the Jeffrey Epstein meme is, quote, a big thing right now, end quote. Only about 54 packs of cans of Basher Oatmeal Stout with the special messages printed on the bottom will be released by the brewery. A ticket writing scheme in Collegedale, Tennessee, has led multiple police officers to claim they were fired for attempting to call out the illegal orders handed down to them to make arrests and write tickets. Former Collegedale police officers Robert Beadle, Colby Duckett, and David Schilling have all filed lawsuits against the city and its officials for wrongful termination after speaking out against what they refer to as an illegal quota system. Now this month, the last officer left on the force finally resigned. The Free Thought Project reports that on Friday, Ridgetop Police Chief Brian Morris submitted his resignation, and the town is now without a police force. In September, Duckett and Schilling came forward with the same allegations as Beadle. All 3 officers were fired without reason when they claimed to be exposing the illegal quota system. Janie Parks Varnell, the attorney representing all 3 cops, argued the firings were just another example of the city of Collegedale, Chief Brian Hickman, and city manager Ted Rogers terminating skilled officers simply because they brought attention to the illegal quota system implemented by the department. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snos.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNOS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snos.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Scary day in Virginia after a mass shooting at the offices of Slash Forward Marketing. Management described the violent scene as incredibly inopportune if the company wants to hit its sales goals.
Gunshots were first heard around 9:40 a.m. VP of Sales Ken Miller placed the first 911 call.
911, what's your emergency?
Hello? Someone is shooting everyone at our office. Can you guys do something about this? We really can't afford to lose focus right now.
The alleged shooter, Brian Henderson, a Slash Forward employee, was described by Miller as a so-so salesman and a, quote, candy ass who obviously couldn't howl with the big dogs. Slash Forward management said the company is rattled to the core by this poorly timed shooting.
It was horrible, really. But hashtag pray for Slash Forward is trending, and we are getting tons of media exposure, so I think we're going to survive.
Donations for the families of victims are pouring into the company website, as are applications for the 18 job openings listed immediately after the shooting.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, launching into the second hour of the program where you're invited to take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have also the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, so feel free to hop into one of those if you want to sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. And tonight, you've got Ian.
Nobody at electnobody.com.
And Richie Rich.
And Richie, you wanted to get into a story tonight, and it sounds interesting to me, about moral grandstanding.
I think it's got a fun premise.
But where's this coming from?
I've pulled it off a Zero Hedge. I think the original was Scientific American.
Tell me about it.
All right. So, do you strongly agree with the following statements? And feel free to answer if you want to chime in.
Okay.
When I share my moral/political beliefs, I do so to show people who disagree with me that I'm better than them.
No.
Okay. I share my moral/political beliefs to make people who disagree with me feel bad.
Definitely not.
When I share my moral/political beliefs, I do so in the hopes that people different than me will feel ashamed of their beliefs.
Do people actually say yes to these questions?
I don't know. It's funny questions, though.
No.
Okay. If you answered yes, then you may be a card-carrying moral grandstander.
Okay.
Of course, it's wonderful to have a social cause that you believe in genuinely and which you want to share with the world and make it a better place, but moral grandstanding comes from a different place. And here's the definition. First defined and delineated in the moral philosophy literature, moral grandstanding can be defined as the use and abuse of moral talk to seek status, to promote oneself, or to boost your own brand.
So virtue signaling, basically.
Sure. But you guys answered no to the questions, but can you say that you don't know anyone who would have answered yes or does those things?
I think that there probably are people like that out there. I just can't imagine that there are too many of them. I don't think that's their intention, right? Like They may be doing those things unintentionally because they're just so poor at communicating.
It happens.
But I don't know if that's what they are looking to accomplish.
Okay.
You know? And of course, generally, if you're sharing your moral beliefs or whatever your perspective is on any given issue, usually people don't want to hear it unless they asked you for it in the first place. So, like, if you just start go ahead and puking your beliefs all over somebody, it's generally not going to be accepted particularly well unless they asked you for it first.
Okay.
No matter what your intentions are, no matter how nicely you try to communicate to that person, generally you should be invited to do that sort of thing.
Fair enough. But
and if you are invited, then you shouldn't be doing it in the way that they're talking about.
So a lot of times, I'm sure it happens like in a restaurant or in a bar when you're out and you just happen to, enter into a conversation with another patron.
Someone who you don't know? You mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're out meeting new people. It happens, right? For me, it comes up because of my job. I interact with customers, right? And I try to stay away from grandstanding or any type of moral questions, but they'll come in and I'm like, hey, so did you hear what Trump did? And I'm like, man, now I got to talk about it, right? Because I have to be nice to the customer, but
the customer wants to have this interaction.
They want to have this interaction, and they're not going to agree with what I have to say.
Most likely, no.
Most likely not. So how do I then communicate effectively and not push them off?
This is a question that moral grandstanders would not ask themselves.
They would not,
yeah.
Right? But if I was out in public, I may just have at it, right? If someone came up to me and said, like, what do you think about Trump? While I'm, sitting wherever.
Well, this is this show is a little different, right? Like, you can say what you really feel here.
Yes.
And that's okay. It's encouraged on Free Talk Live. There's no penalty for it here.
But interacting with customers or other patrons wherever you happen to be, maybe. Or if you had too many at the bar and all of a sudden you're spouting off the new thing you just learned. A moral grandstander is therefore a person who frequently uses public discussions of morality and politics to impress others with their moral qualities. Crucially, these individuals are primarily motivated by the desire to enhance their own status or ranking among their peers.
Yeah, see, I guess the other thing is anybody who's done that isn't going to be arguing a different moral code than their peers already believe in. That would only work if you're preaching to the choir.
The grandstanding?
Right.
Oh, no, I think
because,
it's the opposite.
if I tell somebody about my moral beliefs, they're not going to think, oh, he's a better observer of my code than I am. He's going to think, wow, this is a weird code. I've never heard of it before.
Maybe. Depends on how you position it, right? You're a better communicator of your beliefs and your positions than a lot of people are. Right, it's the I'm better than you. I'm taking the moral high ground.
Well, a lot of people haven't even really thought about it. Like whatever it is you're talking about. We can go back to the Ed and Elaine Brown thing. People haven't thought as far as Ed and Elaine Brown had done about taxes and why they're wrong, or are they voluntary or involuntary. This is all esotericism to the average person.
Right.
The average person just believes you got to pay taxes. There's two things inevitable in life: death and taxes, and you just got to pay them.
Yep.
And so anything that's outside of that is going to be looked at as obscure.
Absolutely. But again, it's the way you do it, right? If you're trying to explain it to them from a position of I'm better than you,
that's not going to work.
I want you to feel bad, or you should feel ashamed that you believe in the state.
Yeah, that's never going to persuade somebody. Right. Being looking down your nose at somebody else is not going to engender kind feelings.
Right. So let's face it, moral grandstanding seems to be everywhere these days. A clinical psychologist, Joshua Grubb, notes, perhaps, just perhaps, part of the reason so many of us are so awful to each other so much of the time on here is related to a desire to show off to like-minded others. In essence, sometimes we behave poorly in an effort to gain the respect and esteem of folks like us. Interested in scientifically investigated this phenomenon? Grubbs teamed up with the philosophers who first defined moral grandstanding, Justin Tossi and Brandon Warmke, as well as the psychologist A. Shanti James and W. Keith Campbell, across 6 studies involving 2 pre-registrations, involved nationally representative samples, 2 longitudinal designs, and over 6,000 participants.
There's a lot of studying to find out that people can be a-holes to one another.
Here are the findings, the core findings. Most grandstanders, though scoring high on the moral grandstanding survey, tend to also score high in narcissistic characteristics.
That seems understandable.
And also tend to report status seeking as their fundamental social motive. Number 2.
As opposed to wealth or what other social
changing the world.
Okay, yeah.
Any sort of social standing, it would just be, that's the goal. Like, what do you want to be around your peers? Right? You want to be
the smartest guy in the room.
Absolutely. If and whenever possible.
Yeah. Okay.
There is no relationship between moral grandstanding and political affiliation.
Meaning that every person or people from all political affiliations some of them will behave this way.
Correct.
What they're saying. Okay.
However, there is a link between a moral grandstanding and political polarization. People on the far left and far right are both more likely to score higher in moral grandstanding characteristics than those who are more moderate Democrats and Republicans.
Okay, I see that. Because they believe more firmly in the things that they believe.
And they want the attention of all the moderates.
And also because they're showing off how consistent they are within their belief set. Mm-hmm. So leftists are looking to impress other leftists by being the best leftists. And I do see that in the libertarian community in some cases, like, when people get so excited about you have to be a non-voter. If you're not a non-voter, defriend me or whatever.
Yeah,
I see some of that.
Or further saying that voting is immoral, like to tell the people who are essentially on their side.
Voting is violence. Thing.
Yeah. Aren't you one of those guys?
I'm one of those, but however, how often do I push that in conversation? Yeah. Right? It's my
and
belief.
I'm not saying everybody who takes that position is like that, but that's one case where I have seen people where it just looks like they're saying, "Oh, look how consistent I am."
Yeah. Well, my buddy once dubbed me the knight of arduous virtue because of the consistency that I take on so many positions and what that is tantamount to. And I just want to bring within the Libertarian Party, me and Nobody had a brief interaction on social media because an article came up the Libertarian wing of the Libertarian Party. And I went, well, how sad that has to exist, but it's just another schism in there.
Yep,
right?
That's true. We got more on the way here. Whether you want to comment on the moral pushers out there, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You got more coming up. Free Talk Live.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge Wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
With Fortune DNA, you can invest in anything you want to, 100% tax-free for you and your heirs, and use your money before you're 59 and a half without ever losing your principal, all with the blessing of the IRS. Avoid the volatility of the market, put certainty back into your investing future, and keep full access to your money with Fortune DNA. Join us now at dna.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. Live Sunday edition. Toll-free number for you, 855-450. Free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, Venezuela now more than 50% dollarized. And why that matters, well, we can get into it. But with you tonight, it's Ian.
Nobody.
And Richie Rich.
Also, if you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty and not be a pain in the ass about it, you can go to libertystickers.com and do it from the back of your car, completely passively. It may still upset some people, but that's their problem.
It'll upset the cops, too.
Not yours. You can reach thousands of people if you drive a lot with a bumper sticker, and you know that people love to read them. So check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic liberty-oriented messages at libertystickers.com. And they do have a bunch of, a lot, probably a couple hundred or more choices already. But if there's something that's not there that you feel should be there, well, they'll make your own bumper sticker for you. Maybe you got a business or an event or something like that. You need your own stickers created. They do it. In fact, if you want a free sample of the quality of the Liberty stickers, just go to promote.freetalklive.com. We have an address, mailing address there. You send a self-addressed stamped envelope to that address, and I will send to you a Free Talk Live bumper sticker back in your self-addressed stamped envelope. And we get those stickers made at Liberty Stickers.
I like the magnets because then you can change out your bumper stickers.
Do they make magnets at Liberty Stickers?
One I bought from them, they did.
Sweet.
I don't know if they still do.
Good to know. LibertyStickers.com.
You can also just buy the flat market magnet and then stick whatever sticker makes you smile on the magnet and then stick the magnet to your car.
Also true.
You could. All right.
But theirs are cut to size.
So where are we at with this story about moral grandstanding?
Right. We're on the third core finding. So to recap, they tend to be more narcissistic, and there's no relationship for political affiliations except on the extreme left and right. Number 3, moral grandstanders are more likely to report greater moral and political conflict in their daily lives. For example, I lost friends because of my political moral beliefs, and they report getting into more fights with others on social media because of their political or moral beliefs. This correlation was found even after controlling for other personality traits and continued over the course of a 1-month longitudinal study.
So this is an interesting thing because people have these conflicts over time. Even if you aren't a grandstander, even if you're not being particularly callous towards the feelings of other people that you're talking to, which it seems like the moral grandstander just doesn't care about, how other people are perceiving them or anything like that. Eventually, if let's say you've got family members or friends who you get into conversations with them about issues that have a moral, question to them,
sure,
or political or whatever. As libertarians, we get into these conversations with, let's say, loved ones at Thanksgiving dinner.
Coming up, so give it a shot.
And, eventually they are going to have enough of you, because if you can't persuade them, and it's harder than anything else to persuade your family members, right? Yep. Like it's easier to persuade a total stranger to a new belief system than your family members. Some people would say that the reason for this is your family knows how fallible you are and that you've made mistakes before. They know you better than these other people, so they just figure you're screwing up again.
Yep.
And they just don't take you seriously or whatever their reasons are. They've heard enough of your opinions about these topics, and you're not going to persuade them. So it ends up getting to the point where, for some people, and I've had this in my life, where I don't want to talk to my mother about anything that matters anymore.
Yep.
Because she's not persuadable on these topics, and they're the things that matter to me. So the only thing I can talk to her about are the pleasantries.
Yep.
In life. Oh, so how's the weather down there in Florida? Oh, tell me about what happened at work this week and all the things that really don't matter to me. And of course, if she asks me a question about something I'm doing, right? Because she wants to. It's easy for me to have a conversation with somebody. You get them to talk about themselves, and you've got a conversation, and they feel good at the end of it. But if that person wants to ask me a question, then, well, I have to avoid getting into anything that actually means something to me. I can't actually honestly answer the question with her because I know where it's going to lead.
Right.
And I don't want to upset her because there's no point. I can't persuade her about it, so why should I bother even trying?
So in our family, my wife's family leans way more toward the left than I would like, right? And my
They're
wife,
from Hawaii, right?
They're from Hawaii, and they know, right, that I lean toward anarchist tendencies in principle. So the rule is just don't bring it up around me,
right?
Because if you bring it up around me, I'm going to engage the conversation. And you're not going to like what I have to say.
Yep.
So I won't bring it up around you. You don't bring it up around me, and
we'll be all right.
And we'll be all right because we have enough other common interests, right, where we can avoid that completely. And I've actually lost friends like this, like real life friends, but also on social media, because it comes up, and they go, "I can't believe you really believe this. Like, how are we friends?" I go, "Because I don't talk about this in order to remain friends with you, right? If you really want to get to the deep issues, we can't be friends because they're so opposing each other that I ignore it completely in order to maintain the friendship." And then they go like, "Well, then we can't be friends." I'm like, all right, well, that's
so they broke up with you
most of the time. I've never broken up with
Yeah.
anybody like in real life or on social media over this. I can handle the discussion. Right, I can handle hearing the opposing viewpoints and going point for point or counterpoint or whatever.
Yeah.
But at some point, like you said with your family, like they lose interest and they don't want to have the discussion, and like an impasse is reached in the discussion. I go, well, we can't get past this because at this point we're so diverging on opinions that there's no common ground to even move forward in the discussion, and that's when they tend to walk away from me.
And you know what? That's fine. If that's what happens, I don't blame somebody who gets into that to that point with a friend or a family member to where they say, I just can't handle being around this person anymore. I like, they're my friend. I grew up with them or whatever, the story is, but they are so in favor of the state and the violence of the state that makes the libertarian that we're talking about, this fictional one, uncomfortable. Yeah. Well, you shouldn't go around people you feel uncomfortable. So I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with ending a relationship because you've come to some sort of impasse on your belief systems. Although I'm like you, I will continue to maintain relationships with people. I'll just avoid those.
I don't ask my state or federal employee friends like, oh, how's work going? I don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can be friends with somebody who I have severe disagreements with, like Chris Cantwell.
Yeah,
is a good example of that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody who wants to sort of cleanse their social palette of people who have a fundamental disagreement with them.
I'm not blaming them.
No,
I
don't think that's as much moral grandstanding as what we've been talking about. That's more of like being selective with who you spend your time with, and you only have so much time in life. So I don't blame somebody for that.
But the moral grandstanders, that happens to them more frequently.
I see.
According to the article.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Because if they're constantly punishing their friends with their viewpoints and they're not moving, in any, the direction toward them, then somebody's going to break it off.
Absolutely.
Because you're not pleasant to be around. Why would they want to be spending time with somebody who's constantly hammering on them for not, agreeing with them on stuff? Toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us here, maybe you've had an experience with a moral grandstander in your life, or maybe you admit that you are one of these folks. The toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom. You can join us on the radio here. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything here. Live Sunday edition of the show. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms at discord.lrn.fm. What is Discord, you ask? Well, it is a free piece of software you can download for pretty much any operating system that you might have, your laptop, your computer, your tablet, your phone. There's all kinds of versions of this thing.
Use it on my iPad.
You connect to our Discord server, which actually isn't our server. It's their server, but it's got our name on it. And you connect to that, and then you can chat with other Free Talk Live listeners. And you can talk to them either in text form, or sometimes they join a voice chat room, and they'll have a little voice chat with one another. It's fun stuff. There's different topics and subjects that are discussed there, and it's available around the clock. Go to discord.lrn.fm, and that'll get you into our server. If you've already installed the Discord app and created a username and password, if you then go into your web browser and type in discord.lrn.fm, it'll just pop you right into the server. It's pretty easy to do. It's just there's a little bit of setting up. You got to create that account, and then once you've done that, then it's easy to be in Discord from that point forward. And if you use those Discord call-in line rooms, which are the top 5 rooms on our server list, then you will sound almost like you're sitting here with us. It's Ian, Nobody, and Richie as we continue talking about moral grandstanding. They've done a bunch of studies on this, apparently.
Way too many studies. Was it 6,000 participants to 6 studies, 6,000 participants. This is the 4th core finding. Grandstanders were more likely to report antagonistic behavior over time, such as attacking others online or trying to publicly shame someone online because they held a different moral or political belief.
So they're self-reporting this in the study, saying they've done those things.
Yeah. And to be fair, right, like the way I look at social media now, it's kind of a vent. I don't take any of that stuff seriously.
Right.
So if I have something, to get off my chest that may be objectionable, but not violating, the terms and services, because I don't want to deal with that either. That's the place that I'll unload those opinions, because who cares what discussion comes after that? Of course, more.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way as well. Social media isn't the same thing.
It's a dumpster fire already.
Yeah, it's not the same thing as real life. It's not the same thing as real friends.
Right.
A lot of the people on there you're never going to see in person, and that's the way people behave on there, as though they're never going to be held to account for the things that they say.
Yeah, and I don't mind participating in that on occasion. Of course, moral grandstanding is not the only factor predicting public conflict, and not every instance of public moral or political sharing is motivated by narcissistic motives. As Grubbs notes, a real difficulty in understanding socially toxic behaviors is that oftentimes the same behavior by appearance may be driven by vastly different motives, and intent matters quite a bit in interpreting those behaviors.
Well, in the intent on social media, what I found in the past, and I'm off of Facebook and have been off for almost 2 years now, but I found toward the end, I would notice that I would say something, I would post a thing on, my page or whatever, my profile, and whatever opinion that I had about whatever it was that I was posting. And then I would notice that some people would then post to that opinion about how offended they were about it and get mad about it, and my response to that was like, well, you don't have to read my posts,
Yes.
You don't
and it's even worse now, because then they report, they spam report, and they block, and they do all this stuff to get you censored,
taken off the
and taken
platform.
off. When before it's like, you don't like it, you don't even have
away.
to unfriend, just block them, just go away. Nevertheless, since we're such a social species, the human need for social status is very pervasive, and often our attempts at sharing our moral and political beliefs on public social media platforms involve a mix of genuine motives with social status motives. As one team of psychologists put it, yes, you probably are virtue signaling, a close related concept to moral grandstanding, but that doesn't mean that your outrage is necessarily inauthentic. It just means that we often have a subconscious desire to signal our virtue, which, when not checked, can spiral out of control.
What's the difference between moral grandstanding and virtue signaling? Is
If you find a definition for virtue signaling, they provided the definition for moral grandstanding here.
I'm going to just guess that a moral grandstand has to do with interacting with others, while a virtue signal is just sort of like putting it out there that you have this particular belief system so as to signal towards others about that.
Yes, I don't know.
That's just my guess.
So I'll read the definition for moral grandstanding one more time. The use and abuse of moral talk to seek status, to promote oneself, or to boost your own brand.
See, that's pretty much how I would define virtue signaling as well. So they're drawing a distinction, but I don't know
sure what
the
is.
difference
It's
is.
a slight distinction, though, because they said a closely related concept. I mean, it could just be like tiny little details. Where is it?
Maybe a matter of extent,
could be,
or degree.
Like I don't know, I haven't read the definition for virtual signaling. Like I have the general concept of what it is. Like I know when I see it, but how close it relates to moral grandstanding, I could not tell you. When the need for status predominates, we may even lose touch with what we truly believe, or even what is actually the truth. To be sure, the human drive for social status can be a great driver of growth and goodness in the world. It really depends on whether one has a healthy regulation of his fundamental human need. Interestingly enough, Grubb and his colleagues found that moral grandstanding motivations are reminiscent of the two different routes to social status found in the psychological literature, dominance and prestige. The dominance pathway to status is paved with hubris, deceit, and aggression, whereas the prestigious path to status is paved with pride of one's authentic accomplishments and the desire for personal growth and connection with others. Likewise, moral grandstanding can be fueled by either the need to seek social status by dominating others. When I share my moral political beliefs, I do so to show people who disagree with me that I am better than them. Or the need...
I'll tell you what, they don't see it that way.
That's true. But again, like we said, it's you're doing it for your benefit, and it's usually you're doing it against someone you disagree with in front of someone you do, right? So you're grandstanding and raising your status with the person you agree with, and doing so by trying to put down the person you disagree with, by being superior to them.
Well, according to Google's dictionary, they say virtue signaling is the action or practice of publicly expressing opinions or sentiments intended to demonstrate one's good character, of the moral correctness, or rather the moral correctness of one's position on a particular issue. So maybe it's doing it publicly, whereas is it moral grandstanding publicly is virtue signaling, whereas moral grandstanding privately is just moral grandstanding?
I would throw it to the callers, man. It's way too close to make a differentiation.
It's a pretty slight distinction.
Yeah, I'm going to say more or
one.
less the same thing.
Yeah.
If you do want to call in about it, you are welcome to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE.
The need to seek status through being a knowledgeable and virtuous example. I want to be on the right side of history about moral/political issues. If I don't share my views, others will be less likely to learn about truth and moral and political matters. I often share my moral/political beliefs in the hope of inspiring people to be more passionate about their beliefs.
Now, who's saying that one?
This is the second way. This is the second way that moral grandstanding can be fueled. So the first one was the need to seek social status by dominating others, and they need to seek status through being a knowledgeable and virtuous example.
And they're saying both of those are moral examples of moral grandstanding.
Or the path to moral grandstanding, the grandstanding fuel. The researchers found that the dominance path to social status was much more strongly linked to antagonistic behavior and conflict in everyday life compared to the more authentic, prestigious route to social status.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like a huge gulf of difference between those two approaches.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing's for sure. If you do have a viewpoint that you believe is the correct one, if you stay quiet about it, then you aren't really ever going to succeed in persuading anyone. So, I mean, to some extent, if you're being persuasive, if you're being respectful of your audience, I don't know if that's the same thing as a grandstand, right? Because it seemed like the attitude of a grandstander is someone who just doesn't care about how they're being received.
And the liberty community needs to move towards getting people on their side rather than looking down at them.
More coming up. Free Talk Live.
If you owe money to the IRS, you need to hear this. The IRS is cracking down on those who owe back taxes. It starts with a devastating letter, and if you don't act immediately, you could find yourself having your wages garnished or have a lien placed on your property. But there's a solution. Tax 10,000 can help. Avoid enforced compliance, where these holds on your income and seizure of your home could become a nightmare that just won't end. Call 800-239-9957 now and speak to one of our experts. 800-239-9957 is the number to link you directly to a tax resolution specialist who will negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, all the forms will be handled for you. All you have to do is make the toll-free call. 800-239-9957. Find out if you qualify and possibly save yourself thousands of dollars, not to mention a lot of headaches. It could be the best call you've made today. That number again, 800-239-9957. The service does not provide tax settlement or legal services. We will refer you to a company that does provide such services. Often the IRS will not agree to any reduction in the amount owed. Not all taxpayers who owe more than $10,000 will qualify for a tax reduction program. Warning, don't let your business get left behind in what is likely to be the biggest economic boom in recent history. If you need to build for your business to grow, call General Steel today for a pre-engineered steel building designed for your needs. No wasted space. Steel prices are expected to rise, but you can still lock in your price on a General Steel building. And you can still save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. As much as half. But you must call now. If you need a church building, office, warehouse, manufacturing space, retail space, or more, call General Steel today. You can still get the General's 50-year structural warranty and General Steel quality, all at a price you can afford. So don't let rising steel prices put your project out of reach and stop you from making your company great.
800-965-1295. 800-965-1295. 800-965-1295. That's 800-965-1295.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live Sunday edition of the show here. You can dial toll-free and join us on the radio. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. We're talking about moral grandstanding. What exactly is it? We're looking at that in detail here. With you tonight, it's Ian.
Nobody.
And Richie Rich.
And coming up, we have an update on Venezuela, apparently now 50% dollarized, according to one study. What does that mean, and why does it matter? Well, we can explain that to you coming up here. And, of course, you can bring up anything that you want. Also, don't forget to support Free Talk Live like Nathan Dunk has done He is a Free Talk Live Platinum amplifier. That means that Nathan is contributing $25 a month to the AMP program. Now, that's far more than we ask for, and I definitely appreciate it. But what we ask is only $5 a month, and you can go to amp.freetalklive.com to join the AMP program with your credit card or PayPal or Bitcoin BTC, whichever one works best for you. We appreciate the support. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. The idea is you can help us get Free Talk Live on more radio stations around the U.S., bring new internet listeners on board, and expose more people to the ideas of freedom. So if that's valuable to you, and you can, put away $5 a month to help us out with that, the price of a fancy cup of coffee, not a whole lot. We appreciate if you can. Go to amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com. John is in Nebraska, listening online at freetalklive.com. Go ahead, John.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I just want to say I think everybody's a little bit guilty of it at one time or another. I mean, lots of people feel strongly about they feel strongly about their political opinions, and I would imagine around the holidays it's tough. When you're around family and someone starts talking politics, it's not easy, especially when you can see the flaws in some of their logic. And I also wanted to point out, like religious leaders, they try to claim that they're not very political and stuff like that, but they slip some of their propaganda in their sermon or in their mass or whatever, that they do. And I don't know. It's tough for me, so sometimes, I guess I'm guilty when I see somebody, acting or saying things or doing things, and I point out, that they're wrong, or at least that's how I feel. And they just can't see like the problems that they have. I guess I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. So I guess I kind of believe everybody's a little bit guilty of it.
Well, pointing out that they're wrong and disagreeing with them is going to be a little bit different because of the motive surrounding it, right? Like from the beginning of the article, it's the motives around why you're doing it that kind of make it grandstanding or not.
If I recall what they were saying,
which
in the
means
beginning,
you can't. Oh, go ahead.
No, please.
Which means you can't really identify it externally,
but it will be received. Yes, it'll likely be received as grandstanding, even if it may not be.
Right.
Yeah, and it seemed like the motivations that they were suggesting for this moral grandstanding was more to almost belittle the other person, or to make them feel less than they are, rather than just to simply have a disagreement.
Absolutely.
And express yourself in a respectful way about your disagreement. So I think it just depends on, like you're saying, what's going on inside of you, and then that may result in a particular tone or words that are less than welcoming or friendly.
And I think you can mature into that as well, right? Like, again, for us, the philosophy of liberty, as it were, initially, when you come across it, it seems to be the superior moral position to have, right?
Mm-hmm. Which is why you want to tell people about it, right?
Right, but then you come across as grandstanding, especially early on in your like liberty career or activist career, as it were, and then you kind of mature. You figure out that that's not too effective in communicating the message, and then you alter the way you communicate until it's more professional, more personable, and more likely to move people in your direction, as opposed to just grandstanding, as the article says.
John?
I mean, I guess, I don't know. I mean, some people can be vicious at times and not realize it. I think
that's true.
Hey, I just want to say I enjoy your show. I think it's awesome that you just let people just call in and say whatever. I think it's awesome. I think that's good. People need to talk.
Thank you. I really appreciate hearing from you tonight. Thank you, John. But yeah, I think he's probably right. I mean, there's definitely some times where, if you're in a conversation with family or friends or whatever, maybe you've had too many to drink, or, you're not really being as considerate as you might normally, then it could come off the wrong way.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, that's I tend to give people back the level of nasty that I get from them.
Yeah, me too.
Which can get pretty bloody high on things like Facebook. So
right.
Yeah, I've said some horrible stuff.
I mean, I remember Thanksgiving dinner where like, my dad and my uncle were like having a conversation, and they were bragging about what terrible drivers they were, and how bad they were being, because, the guy was tailgating me, so I like pulled up a little bit, and then I brake checked him, and they're like high-fiving for driving like an a-hole. It's like, Come on, really? You can't. You're not even supposed to be in that lane. Just move on over. And all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy, right? Because I don't support driving like an a-hole at family dinner type of a thing. But that's the mindset of a lot of people, right? They don't even understand.
I will
their
brake check a guy under certain circumstances. I mean, I'm watching my mirror enough that I'm not going to actually let him hit me, but just tapping the brake lights can be a good way to say, hey, get off my butt.
All right,
but.
Let's go to the phones here, to the phone. We got David in New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Now, are you going to be able to call in tonight without talking about the Indians?
Chief J1 topic.
Well, the call screener put you... Oh, first of all, hey, everybody, Ian's got no calls because he's talking to David Olson.
Hey.
How's your no calls going there?
That's how it goes, man.
We just took John. What are you talking about?
Thanks for batting cleanup for us.
Yeah.
Right. I was always good at that. They always did put me in cleanup, so maybe this is a thing. But I told the call screener I was calling from Indian country.
Yes, you did. As you've said on the air countless times now.
Four corners of somewhere, someplace.
Listening to KENN.
KENN.
I already said it. I said it before you did.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, you're getting predictable, David. That's not a good sign.
Yeah.
KUNM, singing wire.
Yep.
Heard it all before.
All right, I got
new content.
I got all the
Move to the new content. New content. New content. Do it now.
Tax sales.
Okay, good.
Sales.
Go ahead.
Tax sales.
Yes.
So you said yesterday, and I agree with you, by the way, that when there are tax sales, and also I would extend this to people's vehicles that have been impounded. I would go for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would also go for the what's that television show where they buy the stuff out of the storage? People default on their storage. Yeah. I would include that. And nobody should go to any of those sales. They shouldn't buy delinquent.
Why should I go to the sales?
The what?
You said nobody should go.
You think I should go into the business of reselling this stuff?
Nobody should go, but the rest of us should boycott it, and then that way nobody could go and get lots of good deals for $1.
Now, why are you saying
nobody always does what nobody should do?
Why are you saying boycott storage sales?
Well, because it's the same thing. Well, put it this way: if you're living in a house or apartment, rental property, whatever, and you lose your job and you go broke and you can't pay the rent, you got to move out, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Does the landlord get to keep your furniture? Because you owe money on the rent?
Yeah. If you abandon that furniture, they do.
So I'm the manager of a storage facility, so it's not always abandoned.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not the same thing. I just want to say it's not the same thing at all. You're talking about a storage facility, which is a private piece of private property where somebody has fallen behind on the rent. They've, in many cases, been given many opportunities, by the way, to make things right or start making payments.
Yes.
Versus the government coming in and stealing somebody's home from them. I mean, by no means is this the same thing at all.
Yeah, and I had this happen to me, actually.
A storage facility situation?
Yeah, since I lived in Keene, I lost a storage facility at U-Haul. But the thing is, I knew what was in that contract.
Right.
Yeah. When I took it, and I made a gamble that I would be able to successfully keep up with it, and moreover, that I was less likely to lose my stuff by storing it there than I was to lose it by storing it in any other available place. So the fact that I miscalculated isn't their fault. And a lot of times, I mean, if you put stuff in a storage locker and then you die, well, they have to get rid of the stuff. Right. They can't just leave it there. Yeah. You know,
so they got a business to run.
They've got a business.
And we lose money on the
literally, eventually, these whole complexes of storage units would be full of stuff that nobody was paying for, and then they'd have to go build another one.
Yeah, thank you for the call, David. When you say you lose money on the auctions, you mean there's a certain back rent that's owed and the auction doesn't make it up?
And if it's all junk in there, then we have to pay for the trash removal.
To be disposed. Yeah. And there's a lot of junk, I imagine. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. Coming up, Venezuela, 50% dollarized. That's good news for them. It's Free Talk Live.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
Your product is absolutely amazing. I can't tell you how my life has been changed so completely. I'm just at a loss to describe. I don't know how I could ever tell Dr. Howard and Susan, his dear wife, how much I deeply appreciate all the work they put into this magnificent product. I mean, there's so many things that have improved, and I'm only just beginning.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,462, silver at $16.85, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,777. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Mexican media and public figures are increasingly growing nervous about the possibility that continued drug cartel violence in the country could lead their northern neighbors in Washington to act rashly by declaring the powerful criminal groups to be terrorist organizations, resulting in a U.S. military intervention on Mexican soil. The speculation comes after 9 U.S. citizens from a Mormon sect were slaughtered this week by a drug cartel. Also on Thursday, Mexican daily Sin Embargo published a story detailing how U.S. lawmakers and top media outlets are pushing for the U.S. government to declare the cartels to be terrorists. Such a move could clear the path to unilateral actions by the Pentagon, handing the mantle of a war on drugs to the U.S. Armed Forces, after Mexico's president has repeatedly made clear he is in favor of pursuing a socioeconomic solution to the huge problem of crime in the country, or, as he puts it, hugs and not bullets. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Epstein didn't kill himself meme has reached an entirely new, unprecedented level, as it has officially crossed the line from internet meme into physical reality via the underside of a beer can. The Mind Unleashed reports that Tactical Ops Brewing in Fresno, California is printing the message, "Epstein didn't kill himself," on the bottom of beer cans. That's according to local Fox affiliate KMPH. Carlos Taver, manager of Tactical Ops, said that the idea for printing the message on the brewery's cans first came to him around a week ago because the Jeffrey Epstein meme is, quote, "a big thing right now," end quote. Only about 54 packs of cans of Basher Oatmeal Stout with the special messages printed on the bottom will be released by the brewery. A ticket writing scheme in Collegedale, Tennessee, has led multiple police officers to claim they were fired for attempting to call out the illegal orders handed down to them to make arrests and write tickets. Former Collegedale police officers Robert Beadle, Colby Duckett, and David Schilling have all filed lawsuits against the city and its officials for wrongful termination after speaking out against what they refer to as an illegal quota system. Now this month, the last officer left on the force finally resigned. The Free Thought Project reports that on Friday, Ridgetop Police Chief Brian Morris submitted his resignation, and the town is now without a police force. In September, Duckett and Schilling came forward with the same allegations as Beadle. All three officers were fired without reason when they claimed to be exposing the illegal quota system. Janie Parks Varnell, the attorney representing all three cops, argued the firings were just another example of the city of Collegedale, Chief Brian Hickman, and city manager Ted Rogers terminating skilled officers simply because they brought attention to the illegal quota system implemented by the department. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Mere days before his upcoming relocation to Denver, Colorado, 4-year Chicago resident Paul Marston admitted today that he wished he had taken a little more time to truly loathe the city he has lived in for nearly half a decade.
You know, I've been here for a couple years, but now that I'm finally leaving, I realize I never really got to hate this place.
Marsden confirmed that in the time he's lived in the city, he never quite managed to explore his own shitty neighborhood, adding that he regrets never getting to know the stuck-up workers at the cafe down the block, never visiting the overpriced bodega on his corner, and never becoming violently ill from the food at the crappy Mexican place across the street from him.
You know, I lived right next to that bar for 4 years, and I just wish I took more time to abhor the disgusting smell that hits you every time you walk by. I'd always heard this place blows. Guess it's a shame I never got to hate it like I should.
For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Yeah, it's Free Talk Live. You can bring in whatever you want here. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. They're available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
Nobody.
And Richie Rich.
We, in the last hour, I think for most of the hour, were talking about moral grandstanding. And I didn't ask you during the break, Richie, did we finish the story, or was there more that you thought was worth sharing?
There's a few more paragraphs with some of the findings if you want to get into it. Otherwise, we hit the high notes.
I feel like we've covered that story. Yeah, I feel like we've covered it. I was asking you if you felt like there was something that was more, in there that you felt you wanted to get out. So let's change gears and go international to Venezuela, where we've covered over the years, especially the last several years, the kind of the fall into the pit of socialism. Or rather, they've been socialist for a while, but then they started running out of money because they ran all the producers out.
Well, socialism worked well for them when the price of oil was way high and the government was able to redistribute that. So they created the illusion that it was working well for them because they could hand out money, and they were
and the money was coming from the outside, right?
Yeah, well, the money was coming in exchange for the oil. Well, the problem is then they stopped being able to produce as much oil because they did everything incompetently. Things broke, things didn't get replaced, and
because it's a government
the price of
company.
oil fell. And that's the thing. They didn't all of a sudden. It's like saying, yeah, I can make my socialist commune work because I've got a gold mine in the basement. But, that doesn't mean that socialism works. It means that you're subsidizing a bunch of people because you've got a gold mine in your basement.
Yep.
It's nice to have natural resources to trade.
It's a good analogy. And, it's not to say that it's all about the oil. All that was a factor. There's no doubt about it. Remember, at the same time that they were doing this, living on this sort of largesse of the oil trade, at the same time they were also nationalizing countless industries inside Venezuela and basically just destroying their economy from the inside out.
And in a lot of cases, they didn't even nationalize them. They were because they had hyperinflation going on because they were printing money like it was going out of style, and so it did.
Well, at
went
one point,
completely out of style. Okay, so then they want to implement price controls. Well, as soon as you start implementing price controls, people say, oh, okay, well, this is the minimum profitable price at which I can produce this thing, and the maximum price I can sell it for is less than that. So guess what? That's coming off the market.
Yep.
Okay, and they have these absurd moralistic nonsense rules that they impose on you, like, well, you can't use sugar for this, you can't make sweet things. It's like, well, we don't have enough flour, but we've got a bunch of sugar. So why don't we take what we can make and produce something so these people have something to eat? And it's like, and the other, that's not what they're supposed to be eating. Well, they got to eat something. And
zoo
you
animals
can't get what they're supposed to be eating. So whatever it is you got, cook it up and sell it. Somebody will eat it.
Yep, it's true. Especially now where they don't have as much access to some of the most basic food items as previous.
Yeah, well, it depends on how you define it. It's in Caracas, a basic food item may include zoo animals.
That's right.
You said that they were printing money like it was outside. I thought at one point in time that they couldn't afford the printers anymore.
That's correct. At one point, it was probably 3 years ago, they had a debt that they owed their money printer because they didn't do it themselves. They had a private company called, I think it was called LaRue or De LaRue, based in Europe. And LaRue didn't want their money anymore. They're not going to accept Bolivar, the very thing they're printing.
Because they had firsthand experience of how much of that stuff was getting printed.
Right. And they would only
it's like if you have to crypto that has to pay its miners and something else because they're not interested in having it.
Exactly. So that happened. I mean, there's so many different examples of the absolute disaster of socialism in Venezuela. Sadly, the very same jerks that have been running the country for the last decade and a half are still in control. They have yet to be physically ousted by the angry people of Venezuela, who many of them are very angry and somewhat weak from hunger. But the latest news here,
and also weak because the clever thing that Chavez did was he outlawed firearm ownership.
Yep.
And then when things started getting nasty, he handed out all the guns he had confiscated, but only to his supporters.
Correct.
So, wow.
And that's still true today. Chavez obviously passed away several years back, but they talk about
Maduro is the
motorcycle.
new guy.
Correct. Maduro is his right-hand man now in charge of now the president of the country. He has these groups, and they call them, I think, colectivos. They're essentially motorcycle gangs that are not state agents officially, but they have been armed by the state, and the state looks the other way when they use violence in support of the state. So they're essentially effectively the hand of Maduro that's not the official hand of Maduro.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you think about it, the government has way more in common with the mafia than they have in common with me.
Absolutely.
So it makes sense that they would gravitate toward using them. And the U.S. government has cooperated with the mafia in a number of things, even if you don't consider the Kennedy assassination.
Venezuela's economy is increasingly dollarized, with more than half of retail transactions now being carried out in U.S. currency, according to a study. This is Bloomberg reporting that an estimated 54% of all sales in Venezuela last month were in dollars, according to a survey by Ecoanalítica, a Caracas-based research firm. In Maracaibo, the country's second largest city, about 86% of transactions took place in dollars, according to the study. That city has been one of the worst hit by blackouts, just like California, which has rendered credit card readers useless for days on end.
I wonder how that started, because you would think if they valued dollars,
started?
no,
the dollarization.
The dollarization. I would think it would come from the merchant saying like, no, we're not going to take bolivars anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have U.S. dollars? As opposed to, normal people going like, hey, do you want this dollar for all that stuff? Because it's easier.
Well, I mean, that's not how poor folks in business do it. And I can say that having been poor folks in business. You don't say, I won't take it. You say, I'll give you a discount if you give me the other thing.
There you
go. The thing that I really want. And,
And so prices go down in dollars.
Yeah. And when it comes down to it, that's how to get people to spend in Bitcoin, because you come down to that. Start offering a Bitcoin discount, and if people get in the habit of buying it at the vending machine at one side of your store and spending it at a discount on the other side of the store, they'll just naturally trade it with each other.
And we actually have that here in Keene, New Hampshire, at the Route 101 Local Goods. It is run by one of our co-hosts, Chris Reitman. He offers a 5% discount to anybody who pays with cryptocurrency.
Nice.
Now, I don't think that's been enough to really persuade people, so I think it probably has to be a larger number, like 10% or something like that. But it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, well, the first thing to compare it to is the Bitcoin ATM fees.
Right, which are about 8%.
If your discount is less than the cost of buying in, it's a loss.
Right.
But because, you spend your Bitcoin, then you have to buy it again at a higher price.
That's right.
But, if it's greater than, then it's a win.
So, one of our questions I think that we've asked over the years, and it's not clear out of this story, which is relatively brief from Bloomberg, is, and presuming it's not, but the question is it illegal to actually use dollars in Venezuela? And if there's 50% of businesses that are accepting it, or 50% of sales are in it, then clearly if it's illegal, it's not being enforced at this point.
Well, the thing is, the situation used to be that it was legal to trade in dollars at a fixed exchange rate, which was fixed by the government
of Venezuela.
And it was far below the market rate.
Correct.
And so there were businesses being shut down for that, because they would offer a discount if you bought with dollars, and that wasn't allowed. And because nobody. So that was why they were talking about currency manipulators and speculators. Those were those guys, the people who were holding dollars. They must have become more lax on enforcement.
There's more coming up here. If you want to join us, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live's Live Sunday Show.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale. Totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Do you want to join the ultra-wealthy by using a 160-year-old investing program that is no longer exclusive? Keep your funds fluid and 100% tax-free for you or your heirs with no contribution limits and without ever losing your principal with Fortune DNA. Learn how to avoid the volatility of the market and put certainty back into your investing future. Join us now at dna.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Balance of nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
Back in January, February, I'd get home, make myself something to eat, blah, blah, blah. My girlfriend works nights. By 8:30, 8 o'clock, I'd be in bed. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, if this is what the rest of life is like, I'm doomed. Today is day 14 of me taking balance of nature, and my energy level's through the roof. It took me like 5 years of hearing it on talk radio to actually try it. The difference is night and day.
Experience the balance of nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can dial in, toll free, bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. We're talking about Venezuela and how dollarized the country is, with recent studies showing over 50%. Now, it's estimated, but 54% of all sales in Venezuela last month were done in dollars. And, you know, we're no fan of fiat currencies here on Free Talk Live, but there's no doubt the dollar is a more stable fiat currency than the Venezuelan bolivar.
It's a slower sinking ship.
Correct.
What happens if it gets to 100%? Like, does the bolivar just cease to exist and now they just trade in dollars?
Well, the bolivars aren't going to cease to exist. They could still, make purses out of them.
They could cease to exist. Okay. There have been countries in South America. At least one country in South America does not print a currency, and instead they just trade in dollars.
Wow.
And they don't have any ability to
Costa
print
Rica,
dollars.
Central America.
They buy them on the market. And the thing is, because they can't get dollars for free, their inflation rate is actually less than ours.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a government that's, printing them out and handing them out to their friends.
I don't know which one that is in South America, but I'm pretty sure that's true of Costa Rica and Central America.
No, but you said they buy the dollars on the market. What do they trade for the dollars? Or is it just
whatever they produce? They export their agricultural stuff.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that, though. So if you actually have been to these places and you want to comment, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, because now I'm thinking back and I was going through some old coins that I had, and I found some Costa Rican coins. So maybe they had them at some point.
Could be.
I got rid of them. But
I think that's the case. I don't think it's always been that way. I think their currency collapsed and they just said,
screw it. It was the right choice to make. It was the right choice to make.
It's actually, if I was going to be a psychopathic president, my prescription for the U.S. debt would be very simple. We're going to print the money. We're going to send it to our creditors. We're going to pay it off in dollars. But first, we're going to take all of the exchange controls, all of the capital gains taxes off gold and Bitcoin. Okay? And then, guess what? I'm going to implement a minimum guaranteed income of $1 million a year to every single American. And I'm not going to raise taxes. As a matter of fact, I'm going to end taxation. I'm just going to print the money.
And give people the freedom to leave it.
Well, what it would do is the cost of the value of the dollar would drop to zero, effectively. Okay? And so that would cause the national debt also to drop to zero because it's denominated in dollars. So you destroy the currency and you eradicate the national debt for literally however many pieces of paper you have to send them, and you can probably send them a check.
Here you go.
So like 50 cents, I can pay off the national debt for the price of destroying the currency. And destroying the currency is the best thing we could possibly do because then we would have to trade in something else. And it would probably be a century before anybody ever trusted fiat money again. So I call that a winning lesson for mankind.
I think you're right about that. Mark had an interesting idea of how you could do it as well. He suggested printing out or not printing, but because the U.S. government can mint coins, they can't actually print dollars. That's why they have the Federal Reserve do it for them. It would be to mint $1 trillion coin and then just pay, mint 25 of them or whatever you need to pay.
But then you have to give up the materials. The check is much cheaper.
So I think
how big would $1 trillion coin be?
Doesn't have to be
very
that
small.
big.
It can be the size of your thumb.
It's
or
just
whatever.
the denomination.
Okay. So just printed on it.
Yeah, it's $1 trillion. Here you go, $1 trillion coin.
Like the Liberty Dollar, stamped at 50, regardless of what the ounce of the silver.
That's the thing. I was so irritated by the Liberty Dollar and their insistence at using the word dollar and it's stamping dollar signs on things. And it's like, this isn't dollars. This is better than dollars. This is a hunk of silver metal.
It was the manufacturer's suggested retail price of that ounce of silver.
And I'll tell you what, as things progress, I'm becoming more of a gold, silver, metal bug over time.
I'm back into it, man. Those goldbacks, man, those things
are pretty.
Well, they rock. And the other thing is, now that you can back a crypto with precious metal, there's no reason to prefer an unbacked crypto unless it's something like a security coin.
Well, you say now that you can, you always could, just no one was doing it until now.
Well, it was always theoretically possible, but now it's something that you can easily do and you can hook into a network of people who are already doing the same thing.
Well, I'm experimenting with something in that area this week, actually, nobody. It's funny you mentioned the Liberty Dollar. Bernard von Nothaus was the creator of that. His son, Extra von Nothaus, had launched a year or so ago the LD2.
Was this his first son, or did he have like 3 kids and call him 1, 2, 3 and extra because he was only planning on 3?
I'm not sure about that. It's a good question.
I'm on the mailing list, so I got a little bit excited when they first announced that they were doing some sort of crypto back or metals back crypto.
Right, but this was like more than a year ago.
That's
right?
correct. Yeah.
And there haven't been many mailings since then.
Also correct.
Have there?
No, I haven't.
They did an advertising run, a very short one here on Free Talk Live. So we promoted their initial fundraiser and. Their website hasn't been updated in like a year.
Yeah, I don't think they're very active, and I don't think it was a winning plan that they had.
Well, what they did was they created an Ethereum token,
right?
And that's what backs this initial. Their idea was they were going to do an initial fundraiser and sell this limited edition. 10,000 was going to be the maximum of this Ethereum token, and they've got like one of those little progress bars on their website.
But they tried to sell it with these overpriced metals that they were making that were supposed to be numismatic, but
They were twice the price of silver, basically. I think close to it.
So, and they were trying to fund it that
model.
way. The way to start a stable coin in silver is just say, well, I'm going to issue 0 of these initially, and from now on, if anybody who gives me a physical piece of silver, I will return to him one of these coins.
Sure. And that's one way they could do it. But in this case, like you were saying, this is sort of the Liberty Dollar model, is to sell a little bit of an inflated price, piece of silver with a numismatic aspect to it, on the idea that this was going to be a collectible. So their idea on this, nobody, was that they were going to issue this thing. It was going to be a collectible for the people that were going to come on board and help them fund the actual coin, which was going to be later, which would have no maximum. It would be based on what was, coming in or whatever. So they, from what I can tell, they didn't ever get to that step. They haven't updated the progress bar.
They tried to reintroduce the associate program as well. If you were ever
Did
Liberty. It was part of one of the mailings.
Okay.
Like, here, I don't remember the specifics because it's been a year.
Well, I went ahead this weekend, actually, because I've been sort of in silver mode. I've been kind of cleaning out some of my silver that I've acquired over all the years. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to the LD2 coin site, see if there's anything new. And then secondly, try to get some of the coins that are backing this crypto. Because Daryl did it when we first got the advertising. He went and got his right away.
Okay.
And I waited. So I've actually put the order in. The site allowed me to order. I sent my coins from my Ethereum wallet to them.
Nice.
So they've got my coins now. So they're supposed to send me the 10 coins.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see if they if they're still alive out there. But I actually did get an email from Bernard von Nothaus because I sent him an email separately. So I know he's still around.
Yeah.
More coming up. It's Free Talk Live. I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at mark@freetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. mark@freetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, mark@freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Yeah, it's Free Talk Live Sunday show. You can dial in and join us on the radio. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. We're talking about money here on Free Talk Live. Woo! Everybody loves money, right? Some people hate money. They just don't understand that it can be used for good things. They believe, mythology, money's the root of all evil, which isn't true.
It's not even the whole
money
saying.
Is the root of all evil.
Well, that's for sure. There's definitely evil behind fiat money. That's that much is true.
It's hard to explain fiat money to some people too, because they don't even understand what the fiat part is.
What is it?
Force.
Yeah, well, by decree, right? It's like we're saying you have to use it, and some people use the term to just mean backed by nothing, right? Like, well, even Bitcoin is fiat because it's just the faith of people using Bitcoin. Like, but no.
But there is no fiat. People use it because they actually want it.
Which is why I'm saying people misuse and misunderstand what fiat actually means.
Yep.
Yeah, we're in violent agreement.
Yeah.
Indeed. So we can continue the discussion, and if you want to join us, you can. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Speaking of Bitcoin, Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform over at local.bitcoin.com where you can buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site. Meaning the site itself doesn't require you to show ID. Some of the sellers may require you to show ID. I'm one of them. But the site doesn't know who you are, and they don't want to know who you are. There's not even anywhere you can tell them who you are because it's not relevant to what they do. What they do is they connect you with buyers and sellers, depending on which one you are not. And then you can do that with, again, a bunch of different payment methods. It's a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Go to local.bitcoin.com and get started trading Bitcoin Cash. That's local.bitcoin.com. What precipitated this whole conversation about, we ended up talking about gold and silver and stable coins and things like that, was the idea that in Venezuela, according to a recent study, there are now more than an estimated 54% of sales in Venezuela were in the U.S. dollar. And in Maracaibo, the country's second largest city, they estimate about 86% of all transactions took place in dollars. That city had been hit very badly by blackouts, which has rendered credit card readers useless for days on end. Remember the story last year about the credit card machines in Venezuela was that they couldn't handle the transactions anymore because there were so many zeros.
Yes.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough room on the pin pad, on the display for, you couldn't put 12 zeros on there because they didn't expect, when the credit card company came in to set the business up, they weren't expecting super hyperinflation at the time that happened, and they didn't have hardware that's compatible with however many zeros.
Was this before they dropped a bunch of zeros?
Whenever you write software, there's always... You have to specify a data
maximum
type, and that gives you a certain number of bits.
Correct.
And if you overflow those bits, there's nothing you can do
it's a
about
failure.
that.
Yep, it's going to fail. But yeah, you'd ask the question, was that before they cut the 5 zeros off the currency? Yes, that was before. So it was
because they're going through hyperinflation again, right? It hasn't stopped.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
it's going to run into the same problem unless they also upgraded the software.
Correct. So anyway, they're using dollars. More than 4 million Venezuelans, according to Bloomberg, have migrated in recent years to escape the economic crisis, and many of their families at home now survive on remittances they send back. This has caused a breach in living standards between those with access to hard currency and those without, said the director of Eco Analytica. He said further, quote, Venezuela lives in an economy dominated by dollar transactions. This excludes those who only have access to bolivars, whose ability to buy things is severely restricted. Now, remember, the reason why you can't easily get access to dollars is because the state forbids you to pull them out of the bank. So you can go into a state bank with a dollar, and you can exchange the U.S. dollar for whatever the official state exchange rate is for the dollar and get the amount of bolivar that is, the state says that dollar's worth. And as you pointed out earlier, that's much lower than what you would get on the black market for your dollar. So nobody sane is going to go into a bank to do that in the first place.
Which is exactly why they won't let you do it. It's not. They would have to give you the official price, and nobody, including the government, is willing to pay that price.
That's correct, because they're not going to do it, and so you can't do it. So if you have bolivar, you have to trade them on the black market for dollars, or like they're saying, have somebody send dollars to you from outside of Venezuela.
And, the other interesting thing is, imagine they went the other way. Imagine they actually had the dollars to exchange bolivar at the rate that they advertise as the official exchange. Well, actually, what would happen is if it became known and trusted that they would actually stick to the official exchange rate, and the official exchange rate wouldn't work, the official exchange rate would eventually meet the unofficial exchange rate. The difference between the two is a measure of how much the people know that the government is lying when they publish that number.
Confidence in government.
Yeah. Exactly. Let's go to the phones here. Ranger is on the line, listening online in Minnesota. Go ahead, Ranger.
Hey, I got a question. What happens when crypto and we have an EMP? Just curious.
What happens with crypto and an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse?
How wide is this EMP?
So we'll cover the world. For instance,
let's see.
Conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, so this is a disaster scenario here that some people believe is going to happen someday. What do you think, Nobody? What's going to happen?
Well, it certainly could happen, and that's why I say never put all of your wealth into crypto, because there are things that happen where you lose all your crypto and you don't lose your gun, or you don't lose your gold. There are things that happen where you lose all your gold but you don't lose all your crypto. So don't put all your eggs in either basket.
Yeah, that's a good advice.
Can I ask another question, please, sir?
Sure. Unless you want to let Richie give his response here first.
Okay, so I hear the scenario. Sorry. I hear the scenario, and it's usually coming from someone who's like cash poor as well. Not saying that you're broke, caller. Just that most people.
So you're making an assumption.
No, I'm not making an assumption at all. What I'm saying is,
you just said that.
He's not commenting on you. He's commenting on
saying usually,
a group of cash people, poor people who he has heard make this statement. So,
but isn't that an assumption?
No,
he's saying he's not saying that's true about you. He's saying this
is his
happening.
knowledge about a completely different group of people.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so it's usually coming from people. It's usually let me get the thought out, and then feel free to comment. It's usually coming from people who are cash poor, right? And by cash poor, I just mean they don't have a lot of fiat dollars in their pocket, right? They got their debit card, they got the credit card, they got their bank account set up. Most transactions that they handle are done electronically anyway. So they're worried about an EMP knocking out the crypto market, but any sort of electronic EMP that covers the entire world is going to take out all the banks as well. So most people with money's in the bank, they're going to lose it all anyway. And there's going to be a small percentage of people that have physical cash in their pockets that are going to have whatever you want to consider to be wealth.
Yeah, see, no, because at that point, the government is also gone. And so, they can't operate. Their army's shut down. So at that point, it's toilet paper. So unless you have metals, you're toast.
Okay.
That's wealth. And when I say metals, I mean silver, gold, steel guns, lead bullets, brass casings. It's all about the metal at that point.
There you go. Ranger, go ahead.
Can I go now?
Yes, please.
Okay. So my point is, basically currency is whatever the people put faith in. It could be food, it could be work, it could be labor, it could be corn.
Food's not
water,
a good currency because it
ammunition.
spoils for the most part. I mean, unless it's
Well, I'm
you
just
could
saying.
do a ham sandwich backed token, though.
not easily because
And
it's bad.
ammunition, all these things.
Ammo's good. Yep.
Concerned.
Toilet paper, ammunition, sure.
Exactly. So why put faith in something that people? I'm going to get to the point right now. Why do you put faith in a currency that people put faith in when you don't have faith in people?
You talking about cryptocurrency?
Yeah.
Hold that thought. We'll continue. It's a good question. I do have faith in people personally. I mean, I believe that I'm an optimist. I mean, if I wasn't, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So stand by, Ranger. We can get the full panel's opinion on this here in moments. Our toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And I also believe that we do have a bright future and that we're going to have the internet on into the future, although an EMP would definitely change a lot of that very quickly.
But it would change everything.
It would change everything. And we're coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771. For your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Moments remain here. If you want to join us, you can do that. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Ian.
Nobody.
And Richie Rich.
Make sure you check out more of Richie on his show, Anarchist Experience.
Yep, anarchistexperience.com.
And that is where you can go get a weekly podcast download.
Yep. We had Ken Schoolin back on.
Again.
I don't know. I love having him on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I jump on my headphones and sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not.
Cool.
But I love having him on. This week, intellectual property was the topic at hand.
Is Ken anti-intellectual property?
Oh, of course.
Okay, good. Well, I mean, he's a creator, right? Like sometimes
that came up.
Well, sometimes the creators of media can't quite grasp that one because it's the one thing that kind of hits them personally.
Right.
And so I'm glad to hear that he's.
So we
although there's a cartoonist who takes the opposite view, and she does a great TED talk about how copyrights stifle creativity, and it's called Copyright is Brain Damage, and I recommend that anybody out there take some time and listen to that.
Yep. But anyway, so he has the copyright on his book, but does so only as a defensive maneuver in case someone else tries to, in case someone else would have copied it
to try to claim that
and try to claim that it was theirs.
Yeah.
But anybody that wants to, copy and redistribute his book,
He's
feel
cool
free.
with it.
Translate it into
Amazing.
like 50 languages at this point or something close to that. So yeah.
Anarchistexperience.com. Go check out more of Richie there. And also make sure you check out the Edge wallet. It's available for iOS and Android devices. You can buy, sell, trade, and securely hold cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, BTC, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Monero, Ripple, Bitcoin SV, Stellar, and Ravencoin, and others. Go to edge.app to learn more about Edge Wallet and secure your freedom with Edge on both iOS and Android. It's the wallet that I use more than any other, and it's a great one. We go to back to Ranger. He's on the line in Minnesota. You'd asked the question, what about the EMP, the electromagnetic pulse, the theoretical use of this thing that could potentially black out an entire planet or entire continents? And
there are natural events that could cause an EMP as well.
I think the current question is why do you trust
certain
Bitcoin?
kinds of the sun could conceively bust out a bunch of surprising particles and cause something like that, or just a passing ion storm,
Solar
if
flares.
you want to go all Star Trek.
And then you asked the question, Ranger, why would we support something like cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin? And you said, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, I did write down a couple of them, but you said, if you don't have faith in people, and I do believe in people, and I am an optimist, even though it's hard to look around and see and be optimistic sometimes. I think that generally things are getting better over time, that our lives are improving over time. If I didn't think there was a chance that freedom could ever be a thing, I'd probably just give up and do absolutely nothing to try to advance these ideas. So I do believe in people, and I think that cryptocurrency empowers the individual as long as the lights are on and as long as the internet does exist, and I expect that it will continue, that it empowers the individual to control their finances for the first time in, basically our recent history, without having to rely on banks and governments. So from that perspective, to me, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is one of the keys to freedom.
Am I allowed to respond?
Of course.
I'm just asking questions because I don't want to interrupt you.
Fire away.
Well, you're right here. Go ahead.
All right. So, no one, is that your name? I believe in gold and silver. Good job for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think we all do. I mean, you've got some Liberty dollars, you were saying, and I've got some too, and I got the new gold backs as well, which I'm super excited about. So, like you were saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. I mean, gold absolutely cannot drop to zero. Bitcoin
No. Once again, you're interrupting me.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
I was complimenting you on the aspect of gold and silver because it's metal, it's actual currency, which you both said is actual currency. So, why is not food, ammo, ammunition, guns, steel, silver? Why are you backing crypto? I don't understand that. And how much do they pay you for advertisement?
Because it's more tradable. It's more easily traded amongst community members and businesses.
You mean crypto is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the average person doesn't.
I'm not going to go to the store and trade like ammo for a ham sandwich.
And you may not need a pallet of ammo. You may have all the ammo that you feel that you need right now. So cryptocurrency is much more liquid. You can use it for more things. You can use it quickly. You can transmit it instantaneously for almost anything.
And you can buy things on the dark web with it. Which
so how much are they paying you to advertise?
Who's they?
Maybe
there isn't really a they, but I won't say I don't have any financial exposure to crypto because what little wealth I have is in crypto. So if crypto goes up, it does benefit me. And so just in the interest of full disclosure, if anybody didn't know that, but then again, my net worth is a few $100s, so I'm not.
Okay, I think this is a question for you.
I can't afford to buy
divulge how much your advertisers are paying.
Nobody is hiding it. I'm sorry, not nobody. No one is hiding. Ranger, you asked a question. Do you want an answer to it?
Well, you interrupt me. Why can't I interrupt
you asked a question, and we're going to answer the question, okay? You wanted to know how much we got paid, and I asked you what you mean. By whom? And if you listen to our
I'll ask the question. No, I asked you what Bitcoin paid you for the advertisement slide that you
And I'm trying to answer you. Bitcoin does not exist as a company. There is no such thing as Bitcoin, a company that is a sponsor. There's a website called Bitcoin.com that's owned by an individual. His name is Roger Ver, and he runs this website for the purposes of spreading the word about what his favorite crypto is, which is Bitcoin Cash. We do not advocate one particular crypto over another. So even though Roger is paying us to promote his website, that doesn't mean that we're.
Said he is paying.
Yeah, he's an advertiser.
Yeah, that's what happens. On the radio, we have advertisers, and they buy ads. There's another company called...
Several of the things that we say on the air are advertising.
Okay, so he keeps complaining about interrupting, but yet he keeps interrupting.
He wants you to divulge how much Roger Ver is paying you to advertise Bitcoin.com. That's the gist of the question.
I see. I'm not going to divulge that because it's not anybody's business. But Roger is a long-term advertiser here on Free Talk Live. We don't hide our advertisers. We advertise them. We also have another company called, another cryptocurrency called Divvy, which has been advertising on our podcast and on, I believe, our radio ads as well. And they pay in Divvy. I can't say that I am a huge fan of Divvy or anything like that, but we're willing to take newer cryptos and help them promote themselves. Do I think Divvy is going to be the next greatest thing in the world? I don't know. They've got a new wallet that's supposed to be coming out later this year or later on whenever it comes out, and maybe it will be a real big deal. But until then, it's pretty speculative. And in the world of cryptocurrency, there's a lot of speculation that goes on out there. So
what's your gotcha statement, caller?
You think he's leading up to something here? I'll bring him back in here. Go ahead, Ranger. Hello?
Well, am I allowed to speak now?
I'm getting pretty tired of that question. Yeah, obviously you're allowed to speak. You're still on the air with us.
What's the gotcha? What's the gotcha statement?
Yeah, of course I can cut you off whenever I want. Did you want to speak or do you want to keep complaining?
Don't condescend me and answer my question then.
Goodbye. Let's continue here.
Let's answer that idiot's question.
Well,
yeah, I told him I wasn't going to answer it.
Yeah, it was a refusal to answer.
It's none of his business. How much money or how many Bitcoin Cash or whatever Bitcoin.com is sending to Free Talk Live.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to know what the gotcha thing was, because why is that relevant? Like, who cares?
Yeah, it's not relevant.
All right, moving on.
We go on here. Joe is in Virginia Beach. Joe, you're on Free Talk Live, listening to WNIS.
Yeah, I was a little astounded at your definition of fiat currency for guys that are talking about money to misdefine it.
Okay, please define it better for us.
It's something that does not have intrinsic value. It's not something that's ordered to be used, which is the definition you used. Bitcoin, by definition, is absolutely a fiat currency.
See, and fiat means by decree, which is why we only use it when referring to government currencies.
As in, the king decreed this.
Right. There's no decree when it comes to Bitcoin.
There may well be more than one valid definition of the word.
Yeah, I mean, you can go and look at the dictionary. I just pulled it up here, dictionary.com. Definition number 1 of fiat is an authoritative decree, sanction, or an order.
Now, what does it say on Investopedia if you say fiat money? How does it define it?
Hey, fellas, you have to understand a little bit about grammar. Fiat,
I understand a lot about grammar,
is different than fiat as an adjective. So if you just gave me the definition of fiat as a noun, fiat as an adjective defining the currency is something of intrinsic value.
Yes, and there is intrinsic value with cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin because it's backed by a massive network of thousands of computers with a tremendous amount of computing power. I wish we had more time to talk to you about it, but we don't. Feel free to call back another time. It's always best to call earlier in the show. That way we can have more of a chance to talk to you, and it doesn't sound like we're blowing you off. Thank you for the call, Joe. Definitely appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow night. Online in the meantime, freetalklive.com.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. With experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,462. Silver at $16.85, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,777. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, Mexican media and public figures are increasingly growing nervous about the possibility that continued drug cartel violence in the country could lead their northern neighbors in Washington to act rashly by declaring the powerful criminal groups to be terrorist organizations, resulting in a U.S. military intervention on Mexican soil. The speculation comes after 9 U.S. citizens from a Mormon sect were slaughtered this week by a drug cartel. Also on Thursday, Mexican daily Sin Embargo published a story detailing how U.S. lawmakers and top media outlets are pushing for the U.S. government to declare the cartels to be terrorists. Such a move could clear the path to unilateral actions by the Pentagon, handing the mantle of a war on drugs to the U.S. Armed Forces, after Mexico's president has repeatedly made clear he is in favor of pursuing a socio-economic solution to the huge problem of crime in the country, or, as he puts it, hugs and not bullets. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Epstein didn't kill himself meme has reached an entirely new, unprecedented level, as it has officially crossed the line from internet meme into physical reality via the underside of a beer can. The Mind Unleashed reports that Tactical Ops Brewing in Fresno, California, is printing the message Epstein didn't kill himself on the bottom of beer cans. That's according to local Fox affiliate KMPH. Carlos Taver, manager of Tactical Ops, said that the idea for printing the message on the brewery's cans first came to him around a week ago, because the Jeffrey Epstein meme is, quote, a big thing right now, end quote. Only about 54 packs of cans of Basher Oatmeal Stout with the special messages printed on the bottom will be released by the brewery. A ticket writing scheme in Collegedale, Tennessee, has led multiple police officers to claim they were fired for attempting to call out the illegal orders handed down to them to make arrests and write tickets. Former Collegedale police officers Robert Beadle, Colby Duckett, and David Schilling have all filed lawsuits against the city and its officials for wrongful termination after speaking out against what they refer to as an illegal quota system. Now this month, the last officer left on the force finally resigned. The Free Thought Project reports that on Friday, Ridgetop Police Chief Brian Morris submitted his resignation, and the town is now without a police force. In September, Duckett and Schilling came forward with the same allegations as Beadle. All three officers were fired without reason when they claimed to be exposing the illegal quota system. Janie Parks Varnell, the attorney representing all three cops, argued the firings were just another example of the city of Collegedale, Chief Brian Hickman, and city manager Ted Rogers terminating skilled officers simply because they brought attention to the illegal quota system implemented by the department. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country.
Yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm. The latest edition of Lions of Liberty is next on the Liberty Radio Network at lrn.fm. Get more at lionsofliberty.com.
All right, Liberty Kitty Cats, I'm here with a little special bonus show. I am with the co-founder of the Health Excellence Plus program. So one of our very first sponsors, and it is, of course, open enrollment time. For many of you out there, you are making decisions about your healthcare, have a lot to think about. So I thought I'd do this little show with Jeff to answer some questions and, explain more about our very first sponsors at Health Excellence Plus. Jeff Cantor, welcome back to the show. Are you ready to roar?
I am ready to roar and then some.
Excellent, Jeff. Now, for people that are new to this entirely, obviously we always have new listeners hopping on board, so some people might not have even heard of this program at all. So why don't we just start with the very basics. What is Health Excellence Plus, and why should people, particularly those who understand free market economics and libertarian ideas, why should people consider using this as an alternative to the standard health insurance that so many of us are forced to buy, or at least believe we're forced to buy through Obamacare?
Very good. Well, first off, to start more philosophically, the reality of insurance, it's built into kind of a giant cartel of sorts, because there's the hospital operations, the pharmaceutical companies, and typically the government in some fashion, and then the insurance companies themselves. So they're all kind of working in an interconnected way, and that's why, as a good example, there's no price transparency. People always worry, how much does this cost me per month, or what would my copay be, and never how much does that MRI cost, or how much does that surgery cost. So because of the opaqueness of the business, it's just an inherently disastrous situation. And so really the goal of what we're doing in essence is to break that logjam and give people a chance to kind of do a 180-degree about face and go in the free market direction, where we all see what the price is, and all my costs are a lot cheaper because I've not built in a bunch of excesses in there that are hidden from view, which means I can usually take advantage of the consumer. So ordinarily you're going to think, well, I really need to get some health insurance, because what if I have a heart attack or something like that? And this is very true, but your health is a lot more broad than that. I mean, you're going to eat food and have a variety of other things. I might have a sore throat on a weekend. I might need to get a medication, and boy, I heard that they're cheaper in Canada, or any number of things that you're going to have something that may pop up that has nothing to do with ending up in the hospital because of a heart attack.
Right.
So Health Excellence Plus is really more of a comprehensive approach, because it not only takes care of any of those more catastrophic and the things that are more worrisome, but also all the everyday realities that one would encounter.
Right. Now, who exactly is this for? What is the type of person that should be looking at Health Excellence Plus? Because as you've mentioned in the past, this is not necessarily for everybody. I mean, if you have a really low income and you do get an Obamacare subsidy, it might just make sense to take that. If you're in a situation where your insurance is almost entirely covered by your employer, it probably makes sense just to take that. So this is probably more for people who don't fall into those categories, who are considering their options. So what type of person should be looking at this program?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're not wasting everyone's time that this might not be suitable for. This is absolutely for the typical person that would be on a 1099 income, where they're working for themselves. They might be a plumber, a real estate agent, or any number of, there's, thousands of professions in America that this matches up to, where they're receiving, a pretty good amount of income, at least higher than they, like Mark was mentioning, where they would get a subsidy on the Affordable Care Act. If you're going to be paying full retail for a Blue Cross policy, $1,200 a month, and I'm going to be, let's say, just hypothetically, $600 a month, well, that's a pretty substantial savings. So that type of a person. Anybody that's paying for their insurance themselves, let's say they work somewhere, but they don't provide insurance. Well, this is going to be perfect for you to consider as well. One, again, it's going to bring you a lot more benefits and features, but also it's going to be a lot less dollars. Or, interestingly, Mark, what we're seeing a lot of late is, let's say that you, Mark, work for GM. And so you get this really fantastic price for this incredible Cadillac plan, but the minute you want to add your wife and the kids, they charge her like full retail, like 3 times what you're paying, because she's being added to your policy because she doesn't work there. She doesn't get that special inside price. So we'll do special programs just with the spouse and the kids in a lot of those types of instances. And then the only other person this really would not be appropriate for, even if you're on your own and paying for yourself, is if you have a very severe chronic illness. We're talking about 1-2% or so of the population. They're going to be kind of forced, unfortunately, to be stuck with normal health insurance.
Gotcha. Now, I want to, I don't want to beat around the bush on this stuff, because I know one thing a lot of people are thinking as they're listening to this is, of course, what is this going to cost me? And I think that anybody that has shopped around for health insurance is going to be very impressed when they hear what it costs them. But if you could just do a little breakdown of what these costs, of what this plan would cost, that would be great.
Oh, yeah, fantastic. Well, I just happened to run some numbers because we were just, we're in open enrollment, so all these companies have released their pricing recently, so we were just trying to do some comparison. Now, one thing that's interesting, we did not raise our prices. So historically, we're structured and pre-planned in an intelligent enough of a way, and we're working on a nominal margin. The difference is that insurance is working on enormous markups because they've got high levels of commission. They own buildings. They have company vehicles, shareholders, and all the rest. And they're there to make profits. But, it's all well and good to make profit on your restaurant or something of that nature. But here we're talking about making profits on people's medical bills. So I said, it's like your accountant, they get paid a fee to push the numbers around in your books. Well, what's the insurance company doing beyond similarly? Just pushing a bunch of medical bills around, making sure the stuff gets, paid. Beyond that, what are they really doing?
Yeah, it's not like the doctor they're making profit on trying to help you. These people, because of our crony capitalist system, they're just making profits on pushing your bills around.
Yeah, exactly. So in our instance, that's why we're so dramatically cheaper, because on that one factor alone, we're taking it back down to where it's just like, look, we pool a bunch of money and we put a little administrative cost on top of that and a little bit of markup, and then we're all happy, and then we're really helping people. And, we get a lot more volume and all the benefits, and that's how the free market always works. I mean, if you get a good price point, you're going to get I may make a little bit less, but I've had 5 more people show up. So in the end, I actually made more money, even though on each individual transaction I made less. Right. And so, but the other reality is having understood and having built into the program is the reality of the world, because, not that many people break their leg or have a heart attack, especially under the age of 65.
Right.
So, but they do have a greater likelihood of, bumping their head or getting an ear infection or any number of small, minuscule things that in many instances now, because they really weren't around a long time ago, you'd run to the corner urgent care center. I wouldn't think to go to my doctor maybe, or I don't even really have a doctor. And in the old days, I go to the emergency room or something like that. Well, I wouldn't do that anymore. Now you go to CVS and go to urgent care, the little clinic they got in there, the Minute Clinic. So, that's the highest likelihood of things of that nature, especially if you're a parent, you have a little kid, they get earaches and runny noses and, all this little stuff. So in our world, we include all of the tools and services that you would need to make sure that thing is taken care of, which a normal health insurance type program is only going to be good if you break your leg or have a heart attack. It's not going to really help you in most of those other instances. Right. We're even going to make sure you have all of your medical records, that you actually have your own personal vault. And what's so unique about it, in a patented way, we give you a key fob and a wallet card with a QR code that first responders can find. So they're able to see exactly what's wrong with you, so they can start treating you on the spot.
Wow. Instead
of just trying to get you sort of stabilized and rushed to an emergency room somewhere. So we built in all the unexpected things, but also all the absolutely I know you're going to need to do and use type things also.
I think one thing that a lot of people might think about too is, if this is something I'm sort of doing more on my own, does that mean do I have to start calling, 15 doctors to find the best prices for things? Or if I want an MRI, do I have to make 20 phone calls? How does Health Excellence Plus, sort of help to alleviate any concerns that people might have of doing this sort of more quote unquote on their own?
That's a good question, because we didn't even get into that all that much, and you're absolutely right. And it's a little daunting at first blush, because instead of if I took a particular plan from XYZ company, they have a published list of doctors that I'm allowed to use that are in network. And it might be a big list, but it's still a list. In our world, you can go anywhere you want to go. So there is no such thing as they're in or out of network or in this state or in that county. So this is good as a tool to travel around the world, or just to, I vacation all for a month in Florida and, that type of stuff. But my Ohio-based plan doesn't work down there, that type of thing. So you don't have any of those concerns. But in today's world, because pricing is much more known in certain respects, but also with that card that I was mentioning that you have on your wallet or in your keychain, there's a number on there for you as a member. So if I do need to find a better MRI or a better price medication, everything's just a phone call away. Oh, my baby's got a sore throat. What do I do? Boom, I'm talking to a live doctor right this minute. So they're kind of act as your universal triage person. So you don't have to remember about all these different elements or all the cool features you've got. You have one medical helper person that you can call one quick phone call away. And what's nice about it, because you want that key fob thing available in case I'm at an accident, well, guess what? I have that phone number I'm to call with me at all times. So it works out super, super well.
I think the big, one of the big points here is not only does this program typically